guess we'll wait just a second. Oh yeah, Ella, I noticed that too with the thumbnails. For some reason, it didn't show up on my end either. I'm not really sure why, but I will try to figure out how to fix that. Okay, we're all good? Okay, well, hi everyone. I'm Timothy Von Rueden, better known as Von Art Online, and I'm joined by Josh. He's my boyfriend, and he will also be acting as our moderator today. So these are our pretty typical 90-minute, what are these? What do I call these? Follow along live stream. There we go. It's going to be a 10-minute warm-up, 90 minutes actually doing the study, and then it's going to be followed by a critique session where I'll take a look at your work and give a feedback to it. So I think we're going to hop into it pretty quick though. We're going to start the 10-minute timer shortly. So if you guys want to grab your supplies, whatever you're working on today, whether it's pencils or pen or digital, whatever it may be, and we'll go ahead and get started soon. I guess the only thing I'll share before we start the timer is this is one of many birds that I've had to draw in the past, I want to say like 3 years. And this was another one that I was assigned to, and I thought it'd be kind of a fun study to do with you guys. And here's some of the past ones that I've done. And the thing I like about doing animal studies is you learn a lot about anatomy. Even if you're not looking at the muscle tissue underneath of the bird, you can kind of get a good gesture of the underlying structure by seeing how the actual bird looks in, you know, covered with feathers and whatnot. And I think it's also good to note all the little details and things that you may not have noticed when drawing from life. Like for me, I didn't realize how big basically bird claw and talons are. And even on like this little guy, I think this is a chickadee, I believe. Chickadee. I think. I've drawn so many, but their feet are huge. And a lot of birds have like these very big talons and claws. But what's nice is I've learned a lot about how proportionally birds are structured. And I feel like this can go for any animal. The more that you study animal references, the more you start to understand how to create fantasy creatures or creatures that don't exist. And you can pull from that anatomy reference or those like little things you pick up when drawing things, and you can implement that into your own work. And I actually think of like chocobos from Final Fantasy. I'm sure they did a lot of bird studies, and they had to make it, you know, larger than life so you could ride on them. And if you really look at chocobos, they definitely have a lot of reference to the natural world. So those are the birds. Oh yeah, and then this is the latest progress on the High Priestess. It's been a delayed drawing for sure because we have a new little roommate that joined us last Thursday. It's our new black cat. I believe he's downstairs sleeping though. And it's been strange. We'll talk about it during the actual stream, but it's been a lot to handle with the first cat, getting a little jealous. And I guess we're finally starting to settle down, I would say.
Cat parenting.
Yeah, right. And then lastly, this is the little guy I drew yesterday as my distraction from the projects I should be working on. But this was a doll that was repainted. I believe her name on Instagram is Haunted Paper. So if you want to go follow her, she just did a really cool repaint of a doll that looked like, it was a very scary demon looking doll, and she repainted it to look like a Valentine's kind of devil doll. And I really loved it, so I decided to draw it. But today we're going to be doing our studies. So we'll go ahead and start the timer. And if you guys have any comments or questions during the stream, please put @Vonart or @Schwa before it so that we can see it, and Josh can then go ahead and ask them. But what was the other thing I wanted to mention? Oh, I hope you guys are having a lovely day.
The most important of all.
The most important. It is Wednesday, and I hope you guys have gotten a lot of stuff done. It's the last week of February, so let's go out strong. And yeah, you ready?
I'm just going to be sitting here, so yeah, I'm always ready.
So if you guys want to maybe put where you're watching from in the comments, that way Josh can do some shout outs as we're doing the warm-ups. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to lower this back down.
Remember the warm-up, you can draw whatever you want.
I don't know where my scrappy paper is. I'm going to have to use my nice ones for the warm-up. I guess I can do it on the top. Okay, so actually I had... You know what? I'll start the timer, and remember, like Josh said, you can draw whatever you want, and bonus points if you do some bird warm-ups. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1, start. Okay, I'm gonna Google some Kingfisher references here.
It is nice having the low latency mode on now because the delay is a lot less. It's like a 10-second delay compared to like 30 seconds.
I mean, that is nice.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see here. There we go. And I should mention that if you want to join in the actual Kingfisher drawing today, there is a Discord channel below that you can join, and the reference is under stream follow along. I don't know why I can never say the word follow.
Follow along.
Oh.
I kind of don't pronunciate it all the way. I just follow along.
No, you do not.
Yeah. Tawny, hello from
Oh,
Colorado.
hey, Tawny.
Oh, we have Scar from Sweden, Kayla from Virginia, and I see we have a lot of other people here today. We have Eunuch, Ella,
Hey, guys.
Julie, Felix, Ronald.
What
Alice.
is that noise? What's Astrid doing?
Is that Astrid in here?
Could you go check her really quick?
Oh my god.
I don't know what she's doing. Tanya, living with a new cat has been interesting.
Astrid, what are you up to out here? You want to come say hi to everybody in the stream?
Yeah, come say hi, Astrid.
Oh, no, she wants that back door open so bad right now.
She's been extra jumpy because of the new cat. Well, what's crazy, one, I don't know how artists have kids. I mean, even just having 2 cats, it's like been pretty stressful. And like the first night we had to sleep in the same room as him because he was throwing up like crazy. He was diarrheaing all like just outside of his litter box, and it was just a lot to handle. Like we didn't get much sleep, and I'm like, man, if this was like a real child, this would be a lot right now. But what was the other thing that? Oh, what was crazy is our first cat, Astrid, is very comfortable with like most new situations and like loves being around parties. So we just kind of assumed that having a new cat would be fine because we lived with a different cat before, and we lived with the dog, Luna, the little corgi, and Astrid and the corgi got along fine. So we just assumed, but she is so jealous.
She's not like me. She's having me with the new cat. She's just like wanting so much attention from us.
For real.
Yeah, it's a lot. Kayla from Virginia. Hello,
that's right, the
Kayla.
shout-out.
Julie
Sorry.
from France. Oh, no, you're good. I'm kind of weaving everything in. Amber, my sister. Hello,
Oh, hello, Amber. How are you
Hello
doing?
from Wisconsin. We have Raul. Hello from the Netherlands. Seal says, I see some kitty scratches on your precious hand, Tim.
Oh my gosh. Wait, guys. Look at this.
I say, I think you
I
have
have
actually more than
battle
me.
scars.
I have some too.
Yeah, get it on the camera.
That was from the... Was that... Oh, most of these were from Astrid, I think.
What's funny is there's a one, where is it? On my neck. It almost looks like it could have been done from shaving, but the more I looked at it, it looks like, yeah, if I took like a weed chopper to
Oh,
my
yeah. Was that what Astrid?
No,
Astrid
that was...
Or was that Casper?
Yeah, that was Astrid. Astrid got me. Well, okay, so then here's the other problem, guys, and then we'll get back to the shouts really quick. But having a new cat, well, there's a whole story behind that, but basically he's an outdoor cat, and we kind of figured he would have worms or something, and we've been basically having to give him a lot of medicine, and then we got the official news that he has 4 types of worms, so he won the lottery on the worm category, and we have to inject basically a liquid into his mouth, but we also have to do it on our first cat because we don't know if Astrid may have gotten it from him too. So if you can imagine the pressure of both of these cats having to go to the vet, they're just meeting each other, which is a pain in itself. And then we have to hand feed them this medicine that they hate. And both of them are just going crazy. So yeah, these are literally, I'm assuming this is the start of a lot of more scratches that are going to be coming. But it's worth it. And it's crazy because it's not like they're angry. They're never aggressive. Because even our new cat will walk up right to Astrid's face. And meanwhile, I'm like the nervous parent being like, oh, it's like when parents have to watch their kids on trampolines and they're like, that's how I felt when that happened. But there's been no like aggressive hissing. There's no scratching, no nothing. So the 2 cats seem pretty good in the first week. Well, we'll see if we can keep that going. Good. Yeah, right.
I mean, Astrid though with that medicine, she will freak out. Yesterday we were trying to put it, like I was putting the little syringe in her mouth and trying to like get it all in at once quickly. She was crazy mad about it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Astrid freak out like that. I think we'll try doing it in her wet food or something and see if that works.
That's what I'm thinking. So if any of you guys have advice on that kind of stuff, we would love to hear it, considering we're new dual parents of cats.
Kayla says, with cats, it's very difficult, get distracted very easily. I feel like, yeah, that's why with kids it'd be so hard. I mean, Tim and I are still on the fence about kids, because I think it'd be really fun to have kids, but also...
I'd say usually when you talk, we're usually leaning no, but...
Maybe like in a few years we'll be more...
Time could change that. Yeah. That's very true. Probably not, but we'll see.
I feel like my sister has kids. I mean, your family has a ton of kids.
My family has too many kids.
We'll just be the uncles, the gunkles.
Gunkles.
I'll take it. Anthony, hello from Massachusetts. Good to see you as always, Anthony.
Hello, Anthony.
Ella, Astrid is moody now when you have replaced her. Pretty much.
I know, we're trying to do everything in our power to make her know that that's not what we're trying to do.
I spent an entire day with Astrid the other day. Like, I sat next to her all day. We hung out all day. Clearly wasn't enough for her.
Well, and she's been still like snuggling with us at night. So.
Oh yeah, she's in her room pretty much all night.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say she's completely like this pissed off cat. She's definitely moody, which is new for us, but still good.
Alina, when I go over to my parents' house, I just can't draw because we have a dog. Just because he's so fluffy, I must pet him all the time.
Well, yeah, I feel guilty. Like, there's this new cat, and I feel like I have to dedicate at least a couple hours every day just letting him get familiar with me, the scents, let him know, like, how to play, where to eat. But he's been doing a really good job. I'm actually really surprised because that first day was awful.
I wonder if he'll grace us with his presence today.
Probably not. Yeah, he's on sleeping hour now.
He's a little shy. Hello from Russia.
Hello.
Hide the medicine in a roll of salmon. I mean, that actually might work. Yeah, we're going to try the wet food today because Casper I'm fine doing the syringe with, but Astrid was like... That's where a lot of our scratches was from. Astrid was just freaking out. She made sounds I've never heard her make.
Yeah,
I didn't even know cats could make some of the sounds she made.
Well, it wasn't even pain. It was like... It was so weird.
Yeah.
It was like, we're not even doing anything to you. Like, even before we even put the syringe in the mouth. And it's like a little... I don't know. She was being dramatic.
Like Asgar says, also roll the cat in a towel or just get a dog.
I love dogs, but I legit don't think I could ever have a dog now. Oh.
Hi, Astrid. Yeah, she's always wanting attention right now.
That's her trying to get in the door. You can come in.
Yeah, sure. Push it open. Come on in.
Astrid, I've seen you push it open so many times.
No, she's got to be a little dramatic right now. Like, help me.
Oh my gosh, can you help her get in? You're being so Astrid, I've seen you push it open.
All right, Princess, here I come.
I swear.
Oh, there you go. I cracked it open an inch so you could fit in now. Come in. Oh my God, Astrid.
She's also been a little nervous because this is technically the new cat's like home base. This is where his litter box and food is. So I think she's just really not used to the scents yet, and I think it makes her a little nervous.
Felix says we also have 2 cats and 10 chickens, and I think the best replacement for kids would be a dog. I love labs and Samoyeds. Dogs are a different level of commitment than cats.
They're a much deeper commitment. And honestly, like, whenever COVID does pass and cons pick up again, I mean, we would be gone a lot of weekends of the year, and I would feel bad for the dog because we'd either have to continue to put him in like a weekend sitting scenario, or like I don't even think my parents could watch a dog anymore. They're too old. So I would just feel bad for the pupper. But I did grow up with a 3-legged Labrador, and I loved Bo so much. So I definitely don't hate dogs at all. But I do think cats are more fitting for the lifestyle that I've kind of come to know nowadays. Oh, she's being so dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now where's she going?
She's on the shelf right
Are
now.
you wanting a tarot reading?
We have a cat on a shelf. And
An elf on the shelf and a cat. Oh,
warm up is finished.
hi, there we go. So I'll get that all ready. Okay. So basically how this is going to go, if you guys want to download the reference right now, and then we are going to go ahead and do a 90-minute study. Let me turn this paper around here. And then you can submit your final bird drawing into the Discord. Let me move this to after the 90 minutes, and I will give a critique. Okay, so let's see here. Let me get the reference up. So this is our Kingfisher bird we're going to be drawing today. And let me get my own reference up so I can see it while I'm drawing here. So yeah, so if you want to go ahead, final chance to go to the bathroom, do what you need to do, and then we're going to go ahead and get started shortly. So are there any questions we can do while... Oh, you got a lot of cat advice here.
Unix says I recently passed cat. I'm so sorry. Had to get that medicine too. It was always best to give the medicine when he was slightly sleepy. Or grab him. The others opens the mouth and puts the stuff in. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. I think we'll find Astrid when she's like more laying down and relaxed. We kind of found her at a time when she was more active, and that was
that was bad.
Not the best timing on our part. And he says you can try wrapping them up in a towel and have one of you hold them securely while the other opens the cat's mouth and injects the medicine. I have to give medicine to one of my mom's puppies because she has distemper and has seizures with the meds, but she hates them without the meds.
I believe that.
If they only knew you're trying to help them.
Okay. I think we're ready. You ready to go, sir?
Yes, I'm all good. I will try to do announcements. I'll do 1 hour, 30 minutes.
So Josh will try to let us know when we have an hour, definitely 30 minutes, and then 15.
I don't know if Pixel's here today with the reminders. I'll do it though. I got it.
And then we'll probably be moving downstairs for next week's stream. So we're going to start changing things up a lot in the next couple months. So I really want a new format. I want to really invest in a lot of the YouTube stuff because I feel like right now it's just kind of a fun side thing, but I want to start investing in it more. So hopefully next week everything will go smoothly, but I want to start it off with a life drawing session. So if you guys want to come and join for a life drawing session, we can't do full nude obviously on YouTube, but they will be covered with some articles of clothing, probably just like underwear, and we'll kind of treat it like a legit class. So it might even be a little longer. It'll probably be a 2-hour stream, and just so that we can do like the usually it's broken up into like minute warm-ups or like 2 minutes or 5 minutes, and then like 10-minute poses, a half-hour pose, and then a hour pose. So something along that format. So that is what we're looking for next week. Okay, you guys ready to do this?
Let's do it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Now to start it off, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna be working with an H pencil. Let me make sure I can see the stream so I never lose. There we go. And this is what I normally start every drawing off with, or a 2H. I mean, you can see how worn this one is. This one has lasted me like 4 years, and I love it so much. So I'm really nervous when this one goes out because there's something about it that I really like. But today I'm going to go a little darker and just do an H. And then when I'm feeling comfortable, I'll switch to an HB. And honestly, I don't really need to go much darker than that. I might use my 0.2 mechanical pencil if I get to a detailing phase. But to start it off, we're going to keep it pretty simple with some basic shapes here. And I always find it easier to break the initial drawing down into larger shapes and kind of work from there. And I guess the only thing I wanted to like new news besides the cat obviously was we did watch a couple of new films, and there is a small chance we might go snowboarding tomorrow, and it's Josh's first time. But for the new movies, we saw No Man Land and the new one on Netflix, I Care a Lot. And I feel like, I don't know if I watched a thing this morning about how I Care a Lot is like the hottest movie on Netflix right now, and it's really trending everywhere. I thought it was, the first half I thought was fine, but honestly, I didn't care for it near the end. I thought they had a great premise that could have gone a little further with it, but I feel like they kind of dropped the ball when it became a little too silly, and like there were just a lot of convenient coincidences, and I'm not a fan of that at all. And I was just really disappointed because I felt like they had such a good source idea to work from, but I just don't know if I like how it was executed. And then No Man's Land, I felt like had gorgeous music. So if you really like piano scores and that
It was Olaf.
is very ethereal.
It was Olaf.
Was it really?
For it. Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. So you should definitely check out those piano arrangements if you are into those kind of scores, either while you're working or, I mean, heck, just to even listen to. But I would say overall, that movie felt a little preachy. I definitely was expecting more of like a woman that was finding out who she was after her husband passed, but it kind of became a little preachy on why you shouldn't buy a home and why it's better to live. Although the ending didn't really, I mean, I won't spoil anything, but it didn't really seem like it concluded in a way that you felt convinced that what she was doing was the right path. So I don't know.
It was a weird, very loose ending, but it was like she's kind of preachy about like how life's better the way she's living it, but the entire movie she was miserable, and it ended with her being miserable. I guess there was some term of her like finding some form of peace, I guess, but yeah, no spoilers, I guess.
There
but
was.
It was.
I mean, there was some good. There were some good moments though, and I think there is some truth to being locked into only having eyes for like making money your whole life. So I do agree with it, like some aspects of it. And like there was one early in the beginning that talked about how her husband bought a boat and he kept it in his driveway for when he retired. And that would be like his reminder for why he was working. But then a week before he retired, like he could actually retire, he died. And the wife then took the boat, and her whole quest from that point forward was to take the boat to many different places and kind of live the life that her husband never got to or will never get to. So like I think some of those are pretty poignant for me, and I do connect with that. But yeah, as a whole, I was like, it was fine.
The visuals are great though. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, some great visuals for sure.
So
I don't know, if you guys watched anything kind of fun or interesting lately? I feel like we haven't seen too much new that I'm like crazy about. But we did finish Doro Hidoro, which I thought was excellent. If you guys are into anime at all, it's very, I don't even want to sugarcoat this. It is very gory though. So like if that bothers you, probably not the one for you.
I'm gonna catch up on some comments real quick.
Oh yeah.
Odin says, "Hey there, thanks for helping me out with the pins last time. The guys at Galaxy are great."
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad you got a hold of them, and I hope the pins turn out great.
Yeah, they are really easy to work with too.
They're so easy to work with. Yeah, if any of you guys want a good pin manufacturer, we use Galaxy Design.
Yeah.
Is that what it?
Galaxy Design Squad.
Yeah, Galaxy Design Squad. And they've been very helpful. I would say they're not the cheapest though. I would say they're probably middle of the pack in terms of price. I've even had some of my friends tell me that they're maybe on like middle high, but I think because the convenience of working with them is so nice, they get back to you very quickly. You don't even have to send them vectors. You can send them JPEGs and they'll vectorize it for you. So like I don't mind paying a little bit extra for the amount of customer service we get because it's excellent. And I know Josh has to hear me complain about like book manufacturers or card ones, or basically we work with a lot of different companies to make products. And I think easily this has been the best one to work with.
There's been no issues with them really.
Zero.
And even when there was an issue, they replaced the pins for us right away.
Yep.
Literally an entire order they were able to replace even. So
100 for free.
Yeah. So they're very good at like the customer service side, which I feel a lot of people don't care about.
No, I think when you're like a young new artist, I feel like it is hard to justify spending more money than you can shell out at the moment. But I think if you're in that position where you can put like just a little bit more down for good quality service as well as good products, I actually really like the product as well. I'm not just paying for the customer service. Then this, I think, is the brand and company for you.
Anthony says you should draw Astrid as an actual prima donna.
Yeah, right. I feel I could definitely do that. I did want to draw the cats at some point because I thought about it, I was like, oh, why haven't I ever drawn Astrid? I was like, well, I've drawn cartoon versions of her. And actually, one of her emojis is still.
Oh, I just did it right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Little Astrid.
So I'll probably add a Casper one eventually.
Ella says Astrid is the real boss here. I think she's trying to get that point across due to the new cat. She's like, hey, you're cute and all, but I run this place.
Well, it's funny because Casper will literally walk straight to her face. And you can tell even she's like, wait, no, don't you realize like I'm powerful? Like I'm a queen. Like what are you doing? Like you're a commoner. Like you're peasant trash. What are you doing?
Who do you think you are?
But he has no fear of her. But what's weird is if you take like a step that's a little creaky on the floor, he like is a little skittish. But with Astrid, she'll like bolt right in front of him and he'll just like watch. Like no jump,
he
no
doesn't
reaction.
jump at her, yeah.
It's very strange.
Ella says, I'm here for reminders too, but I can't promise I'll be any better than you, Josh. Well, thank you, Ella. We'll do the best we can. It's like in front of my face this time, which helps. So hopefully I'll remember.
I was gonna say knock on wood.
Yeah.
I think of something. Or you go.
Yeah, I was just gonna catch up so that we're on to movies. Unix says, I'm already excited for next week. Felix says, I'm totally down for life drawing. I was actually planning on doing the Proco course once I'm less busy with uni, so I feel more competent when I start doing commissions
Felix,
and stuff.
I would definitely do the Proco ones. I truly do believe he is the best tutorial YouTube artist on YouTube. And not even by like a little bit, I would say by like a lot of it. I think his videos are excellent. They go in depth. They are masterful in terms of his understanding and the way that he presents it. So I highly recommend it. I don't even know Proco, so it's not even like I'm just endorsing because I'm friends or something with him. I would love to meet him though at some point. I just think his videos are top tier.
Anthony says, I watched Earwig and I completely understand where you were coming from. It's not exactly on the same level as Spirited Away or Howl's Moving Castle.
I totally forgot about Earwig. I told Josh I've been trying not to say anything negative about like films or video games especially on Instagram. But even like here, I don't want to just harp on it and like just talk smack about it because there are some people that probably really like it, and I know that people worked on it, and I think I have more of a little bit more sympathy towards, you can't just harp on something knowing how much energy and work went into it. But I still have that part of me that does think in a very critical, constructive way. And yeah, I really did not like Earwig. I think that is the worst movie I've seen this year so far. And it was rough. Well, Josh didn't even want to watch all of it fully. He was like on the computer because I don't know why. Because I think you read something bad.
No, I skimmed through it before you actually watched it.
Oh.
So I did like I would click every 5 minutes and just kind of do a skim through of it. Mostly because I don't know. No, I don't want to.
Right? No, either way, like if someone does enjoy it, I'm not going to rain on their parade. But I just think that my standard for movies in general, I feel like is a little higher. And I feel like for Ghibli specifically, it's a little higher, and I don't feel like they hit the mark for me.
I think it was the message of the movie was really confusing, what they were trying to say. I feel like Ghibli movies are really good at having some kind of like moral or some good lesson to it, and I couldn't really tell what the actual moral lesson of that movie was either.
Yeah, like without spoiling anything, it's a lot of her kind of manipulating people around her to get what she wants, which I don't think is a great message for kids to begin with. And that's kind of the base of the whole movie. And I don't know. It just wasn't for me, I'll say. And I think we talked a little bit about it last week, but the more I think about it, Little Nightmares 2, Josh beat it last weekend, and I watched him play it. I definitely would recommend it. Especially after watching you play Outlast. It was like, yeah, I think the way that Little Nightmares does its spooks and the mystery surrounding it, I think it's just really nice. I don't like how it ended as much.
Outlast.
I mean,
they're two different games.
I think any game that forces you to read to understand the plot, I'm always a little like,
I feel like Outlast though is a whole like genre of horror in itself, I guess. Especially when it comes to games, because Outlast was like going back to the Amnesia days. It was like a very specific style of playing horror. You have a couple jump scares. I think for that time, Outlast was really good. And I liked Outlast more than Amnesia, which was hard because I loved the Amnesia games at the time.
Which I still don't understand that one.
I love Amnesia games.
I do not think those are good.
There might be a little tinge of nostalgia with them, but I love them still. Oh yeah, Scar says, what an interesting eraser. Are they common? It's just old stepped on chewing gum.
Well, there's two. I don't know which one he's talking about. This is a kneaded eraser. And these are really nice because you can form it in any shape. Normally I like do a triangle with my fingers, or like I try to get to a point and then dab it. And then this is a mono zero eraser. These are my best friend when it comes to erasing. As much as I love the kneaded eraser, I think this has been and proven to been more useful because in tight edges I can just get in there really quick. Where the kneaded eraser, oftentimes when you do it, it'll like flatten itself out and then you have to like reshape it. So I like having something that's consistently small.
Yeah,
So,
I need it.
I
I've
believe-
stepped on those so many times.
Do I have links to them underneath the video?
Let's see. No.
Oh, I don't. Or at least do I say what they are? I don't. I will have to put that back
Yeah,
on.
actually, yeah, maybe next time we just have like tools you use and you can just link all of them.
You
or
know what?
something.
I thought I did somewhere. It must be on my tutorial videos or something.
Yeah, the kneaded erasers.
Like a reminder.
Tim has a habit of like they somehow get on the floor, and then I'll be walking around, got my slippers on, having a good time, and all of a sudden, oh, what's that little bit of a stub on my foot? And then it's just a little kneaded eraser.
Just a kneaded eraser.
Anthony says, I've also gotten closer to discovering my market. I'm planning on painting my own fairies in the style of medieval illuminated manuscripts.
I mean, that would be cool.
Interesting. Yeah, that's like very specific too. I like that. Oh, Candor. Hello.
Hey,
Tim
Candor.
and Shua.
What am I doing wrong? Oh, I see. See, this is another one of those things where I'm not looking straight down at it. So the angle is weird for me.
He's so pretty.
You know what's funny is this could potentially even be a bird because what I was reading about the Kingfisher was apparently the differences between them are very subtle. Where you know how normally female birds are a little less colorful?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently this one, it's not that big of a difference.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's curious. Like why they have like a biological difference in a lot of other birds then.
Right? Yeah,
Do
no
they
idea.
do they peck wood? Are they like woodpeckers kind of?
Well, from what I read, they're very tropical birds. So they don't like live in the north at all.
Oh, I think with the Galapagos, because like a lot of birds there, they found had longer beaks to like reach places that they couldn't and stuff.
You know, it's funny, it's because I did like my quick research before.
Yeah.
And from what I remember, it sounds like they eat invertebrates if they need to, but a lot of low-flying insects, and it said I think it said a variety of prey.
They have a very open palate.
Mm-hmm. They're not picky.
Yeah. Oh, Candor linked the eraser. Thank you, Candor.
Thank you, Candor. Let's talk about, because I feel like we just did a lot of negative things in terms of media. Like, what's something good that we've seen recently? Or played or heard of?
Oh, Nightmares 2.
Oh, this is kind of irrelevant, but if any of you have ever played the Final Fantasy Dissidia games, they made like a port to PS4. I actually don't think the port was great, but we found out yesterday by accident. They ported over the Kingdom Hearts version of Cloud into the game, which is like one of my favorite outfits ever because it's the most gaudy fantasy outfit and design I think ever. It's just basically like any trope in the final or in just fantasy in general, like character creation and design. They just threw all of it in one character, and I think it's great because I almost feel like it's poking fun at itself. But me and my friends talk about it because I think most of my friends hate the design. And I totally understand. I can't even like fully defend it because I get why someone would hate it, but I love it. But I think I just really like gaudy aesthetics. And it gets to a point though.
Do Tim?
I do, but then there's other characters like Bayonetta, and I hate her design. So it's weird. Yeah. So it's not like every gaudy character I immediately like. I think there's some level of distinction.
It's your taste. I'm trying to think for me. I mean, I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 again. I started playing Sky again. Children of the Light. That's like a really cute mobile game. It's coming out on Switch this year too. It's by the people that made Journey. I don't know. I just like the style of the game. It's very cozy. Sorry. I don't know. Oh no, Eunuch. I broke my tablet settings. Oh no.
I mean, I've definitely done that before, and it's really frustrating. So I totally get it. I think the worst is when Photoshop does an update and it like messes with your brushes. Oh, that it will literally take me like a day just to fix everything.
Candor, oh yes, Sky. It's been so long. Yeah, I don't know, they're doing this seasonal event right now called Season of Dreams, and I just think it's so cute. This little story about this girl that has a dream of making it big and ice skating. It's just cute.
Yeah, it is pretty cute.
Yeah. Such a peaceful little game.
I mean, when it comes out on Switch, I'll get it.
Oh, Ella says we have kingfishers in Sweden.
Oh, really?
I wonder if they like look different there, or did they look pretty similar?
Are these the same birds?
Well, because I always think about like birds that can look different in different areas too, depending on what they need.
Oh, that's right, Darwinism.
Yep.
This eye is off.
Yaskar says if you like video games, I highly recommend Hollow Knight. Oh yeah.
Oh, I think I'm at the last boss. I couldn't beat it the first night that I got to him, so I put it down. But what's weird is I haven't played it since. But I'm like right there. I'm right at the end.
I thought you finished it, but yeah. Has a very simple yet cute art style, but the game itself is the prime example of what a platform adventure should be.
Oh, I totally agree. It's great.
Is the second one coming out this year?
That I don't know.
Let me see. It was announced a while back, I thought.
Okay, really quick, for those of you who are doing the drawing with me today, I think for the head of the bird, since it has all these like striped patterns on the feathers going back, sometimes what I'll do is I'll find a few in the reference that I'll kind of draw the origin and starting point from, and I'll kind of just zigzag up and down. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because I think the more imperfect it is, the more believable the patterning is. So if you have some breaks or if it turns a bit, that's how I would go about doing this area.
Yeah, there's no release date for it's called Silk Song is the second one.
Silk Song.
Yeah. And you play as Hornet in this one.
That I did hear.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. I mean, I like any of those kind of games, because even Ori, obviously that game's amazing, both of them. Just kind of those.
Well, I definitely put it in the same category as Celeste.
Oh, I love Celeste.
I just think they have a good mechanic to them where they're difficult enough to be challenging for older generations, but still playable for any age, you know?
I mean, Celeste is the main levels of Celeste are frustrating but doable. It's the B-side ones that are a little more frustrating. But Celeste just feels good to play though, because it's so responsive.
Oh, it's so good.
Like they did a really good job with that technical side of it.
Well, it's almost to the point where it ruined the jump in a lot of other games for me. Like I always think of Donkey Kong.
Oh my god,
I hate the jump so much in Donkey Kong. It just almost ruins it for me.
Playing Celeste, and then I played Super Mario I think it was, yeah, Super Mario World. I went to that one for a little bit. I couldn't do it for a while because I was like, it's the delayed jumps that they do. The more like weighted jumps they add in, which I guess is more realistic because even Donkey Kong, it's a weighted jump, which makes sense. But
It makes sense
she
for a
felt
gorilla.
weightless. Yeah. Which was like for that game though, I guess made sense why they did it then. Ella says they look the same, so the Kingfisher does not change in Sweden.
Well, that's kind of cool. I mean, this is a very bright, colorful bird.
Just...
Although, to be honest, we get a lot of kind of colorful birds here too.
Oh yeah, because we get our bird feeders out. I mean, we could technically still be putting bird food out right now in winter too, for the little chickadees.
I think we gotta first take care of our cats before we can take care of another animal.
Felix says, I'm starting to regret my decision to do this in watercolor. I forget I'm not good at it. No, I like...
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like the confidence just to go for the... Where are my oils, Felix says.
You know what's funny is I think I would actually feel more comfortable in oils as well over watercolors. Because even though oils are difficult, I feel like watercolor has just such a level of precision and control that you build up with time in doing watercolors that at least with oils you can kind of mush things around a little bit. But yeah, watercolors, I mean, you have to know how wet the paper needs to be, how much color to put down, how much to absorb in the brush. There's a lot to it. So I give a lot of credit to watercolor artists.
Eunuch fixed it.
Fixed
Shoot.
what?
The tablet.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. Well, that was a quick fix. Well, I'm glad you were able to do that so quickly. Because I remember back in college, I mean, whenever any problem like that happened, it would just be a while.
Kendor says, no, watercolors are so fun. It might take you 40 hours, but it's so worth it. Kendor says, I feel praised. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, watercolors are no joke. Because I would say even in like the traditional realm of mediums that you can work with, pencil would probably be described as the easiest. But I honestly do think pencils though take a lot of patience and a lot of like slow buildup. And I personally would, if I had to pick like a tool, if I needed to do something really quick, as much as I love a pencil, I honestly think a pen would be the first thing I would grab. Because once it's down, and you kind of just have to power through it. Like you have to confidently just like go for it. Where a pencil, I think I tend to move a little slower because I can adjust things and I can like push some shapes around. If I needed to adjust an edge, just grab the eraser. So I think there's more time involved with pencil work than sometimes pen. Unless if you're one of those pen artists that, you know, draws it all with pencil first and then just redraws over.
Lena says, I work primarily in watercolors, and while sometimes having to build using 10 layers, having finally become comfortable using them after years has been so satisfying.
I totally believe that.
Actually, our roommate does watercolors, and she does a really good job with the colors and stuff too.
Actually, Lena's excellent with watercolors.
Can link their Instagram. Kendra says, I think pencil is just underrated. There is pencil and there is pencil. I do think with pencil, a lot of times, especially people that maybe aren't in the art realm, just see it as like, oh, you're just sketching, or they don't see it as like, oh, you can actually do a lot more with pencil than just outlining or anything like that.
Which is, I mean, it's fine. I think the perception of pencil has changed so much in like the last 10 years, because I remember I had that perception when I went to college because there wasn't really a popular pencil artist. And it wasn't until, I mean, I tell a story all the time, but I met Alan Williams. He really changed my perception on what pencil could be. And then as I started to make my own pencil work and started to go to cons with only pencil stuff, not only am I starting to slowly see the shift from questions turn from when are you going to color this or when are you going to finish this to barely getting those questions at all. And I think it really helps when you have a lot of other artists that are, gathering a following like Miles or Viarte, and I mean, obviously Alan Williams. But I think we're seeing a lot more pencil artists come out of the woodwork, and yeah, hopefully we can keep that trend going.
Mm-hmm. Scar says, so right now you're drawing off an image, but how do you go about when drawing fantasy-like stuff? Do you still use references from real-life stuff?
Every drawing I feel like is a slightly different process. Where as much as I would love to have like a set pattern of this is what I do first, this is what I engage with first. Sometimes it'll literally, like the drawing I did, I think it's in the sketchbook, the one of the little devil boy. Where's he at? So for this guy, the only reference I had was a picture that I took on my phone, but he wasn't in this pose. It was like a straight on shot of the doll. So I kind of have to use my knowledge of 3D space and rendering to like put him in a pose. So you kind of break it down into like the simple pose, gesture, anatomy. And I feel like I've drawn people so many times that I can kind of figure out what the pose should generally look like and then adapt it to more of like a doll aesthetic. So I would say, yeah, most of the time I'm not using reference that heavily. Like even with the High Priestess right now, I usually will collect like 20 different references and I'll nitpick like things from each one. But the actual pose, if it's something more elevated, like a drawing that I know I want to spend more time on, I'll take a reference photo myself. So we actually had our friend Kat dress up in a lot of our gold fabric in the back room and had her sit on a table and just wrap her in it. Because I think with fabric specifically, you do want more of a reference. I do see some artists, actually Celestial Fang, who sometimes comes to these, I think is excellent with fabric. And I don't even know if they always need reference because I think they've drawn it so many times that it's just locked in their brain. They know how to do it. So I would say yes, work with references if you're kind of newer. But my friend Pete says that he thinks the best advice with using references are to think of an idea first, get some gestures out of your brain, and then once you kind of have a set pose locked in your brain, then go searching on Pinterest or wherever. Because oftentimes if you start with a preset pose, you're kind of locked into that idea from the get-go, and more often than not, it looks like stiff, or at least the final result might look a little stiff because it looks like you just heavily referenced a pose and then you had to work around the pose rather than having the pose work for you. Which actually I do agree with, because sometimes when I work from a pose or from a still to start off with, I do feel it's a bit more rigid than when I was working on the doll. I was kind of free and fluid with however I could make the pose and the positioning. So yeah, hopefully that helps.
We are coming up on the 1 hour mark.
Oh my gosh, time went so fast. Oh my gosh.
You're good. You technically have 2 more of the first 30 minutes that you just had.
I know, but some of these, like, look at the dots on the feathers. I know there's gonna be some of these details that
it's okay.
I'm gonna have to try not talking as heavily during, because if I'm gonna really execute those, I gotta stay focused.
I wonder like what the little dots purpose is for them. If it's to help blend in with certain things in their environment.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You would assume so.
It's pretty detailed on them though.
Oh, something else I should mention this earlier. Whenever you're doing pencil strokes, especially when you're doing something like hair or feathers or something, try to have your strokes, the actual pencil to paper movement, be in the same direction as the reference you're trying to do. So for the wings, I'm pushing these lines in the same direction. That way when I get to the detailing and I start outlining things, I already have that underdrawing to help navigate the viewer's eye into creating the illusion of the form and depth here.
Kendor says, Tim's tip of the day. In order to stay focused, you should stay focused. Another Tim tip.
Another tip. And I agree with it 100%.
I always like Tim's practical Tim tip advice here and there. Ella says a wonky has a similar style to Celestial Fang, and I absolutely love their use of color and fabric. I'm clicking.
And I would have to see it. Oh yeah! Oh my gosh, that is literally I think my favorite artist of 2020.
I was say I remember looking at these.
Oh, I think they're just so powerful. You can just tell like they're so confident with their compositions and their color use, and it probably doesn't even take them that long to create some of their work because they're so confident. I don't know, it just bleeds off the page for me, which I love. I love looking at an artist where you can just tell there's confidence just bleeding from their work.
Alina says, not me avoiding the wing and doing everything else first because it'll be the most difficult part.
I know. I feel like I can feel myself working around it. But since obviously I'm on a live stream and you guys are watching, I gotta get to it. So I know I will have to draw it.
Mm-hmm. Candor, we can never have enough Timps. I really wish we could do a fun booklet of it someday. Just a little
someone made
compilation.
I want to say like a couple years ago, someone made Tim Tip. They made like 6 in like a sketchy comic form, and I believe I posted it on my Facebook page. I'd have to find it and maybe I'll let you guys see it. But it was pretty good.
It's probably a ways back now, isn't it?
It's gonna be yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't even look for it because it would take you a while.
That's a lot of scrolling. I think customers, I have a very emotional way of like approaching things. It's nice to sometimes just have you root it like just like that. In order to stay focused, you should just stay focused. It's like that good slap in the face of like,
wait, what are you saying?
I just mean sometimes I can be like very emotional about things, and you always have like a good, just practical like, just don't be emotional.
Out of it.
Yeah, just stop.
I think sometimes it's just like people need to take a breath and be like, okay, why am I stressing over this? Is this something to actually be stressed over about? Can I create a solution from this? Can I actually change the pattern of thought going on here? Because I think for me, the only times I get really frustrated is when I feel like I can't create a solution to something, and that drives me nuts. But usually everything else, I'm usually pretty good at. Okay. Like if money is an issue, okay, well, how can I make money? Okay, well, make a card deck. You know, like
yeah, that's usually when you get honestly frustrated or more like upset is when you can't come up with a solution for something.
And I will say, usually it's with other people.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I get frustrated when, I mean, we have some friends too where it's just like, don't you see like your problem isn't that it's like too great to overcome, it's that it doesn't seem like you want to overcome it. You know, like you'd rather complain about it than actually solve the problem. Yeah. Which I think sometimes that frustrates me. It's like,
I mean, complaining can help, but there hits a point where if you've been complaining about something for a really long time, but you're not taking any action, that's where it becomes like, okay, I think it's okay to complain here and there. Because I do it myself. I gotta complain and get things off my chest a little bit, but actually, yeah, is there something that I complain about a lot that I have not done anything about?
Your teeth.
My teeth?
So Josh had to get a tooth literally removed because it was so rotten. And
no, I had to get a root canal, and I didn't want to get the root canal, so I let it sit there.
And rot.
Yeah. And I complained about it.
And then even now, guess who doesn't brush their teeth at night?
I brush my teeth once a day. Don't
listen.
I'm not a twice a day brusher, but I will at least try to brush once a day.
I think when you get to the point where you're having a rotten tooth extracted, I think you have to be a twice a day person.
I'm planning on eventually just getting them all fake teeth put in.
Okay. I kind of wanted that for a long time until I realized it's not practical at my age. But I think the idea of having dentures actually just sounds kind of nice to me. I don't know if it's like the lazy effective side of me. It's like, oh, why? I don't even need to brush them twice a day if I could just take them out and put them in a solution every night.
Pretty much. I mean, my grandpa has no teeth and he will not get dentures or anything. My grandpa just chews everything with his gums.
That's going to be me someday. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, no. As soon as I'm eligible for dentures, I'm going to get them.
Oh, Tim. You're eligible anytime. It's not like they're going to deny you dentures. Sorry, you're not at the age 65 limit yet.
I was highly recommended not to when I went to the dentist last time and asked them if I could.
Well, yeah. Alina says, please, I'm two dentists' daughter. Stop torturing me. No, please stop about dentures. My head hurts. No.
Don't worry, I'm not getting them anytime soon.
Tim, if anything, I'm definitely closer to getting them than you are.
I know, I'm like low-key jealous, but also not. Well, I feel like I would get them for a more practical reason, and so I don't have to spend time cleaning them every night, so I can spend time doing other things. I feel like you'd have to get them because you'd have to get them. I feel like I'm one of the weirdos that want them. You would have to get them.
Oh, we have a lot of dentists, like, people here. Raul says, no, please don't think dentures are easy. I work at a dentist, and it can be such a long and painful process, and they need to be replaced. I don't know, Tim. This is sounding more like maintenance. I'd rather just get implants if I had to get anything over dentures. But I know implants you still have to take care of and really clean.
I feel like I've seen some celebrities that do that.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the new popular thing are, what are those called? Veneers? Little pop-in ones that are all white and perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I would ever get veneers, though. I don't ever need my teeth, like, perfect.
Alina says, gotta mute, bye. We'll see. I do brush once a day. For the record. But flossing I probably could be better with. And mouthwash.
For the record, all of 2021, I haven't seen Josh brush his teeth.
At least I know. Tim, yes, you have.
I have not.
You've seen me brush.
When?
I literally brushed yesterday.
Yeah, but I didn't see it.
Okay, well, every time I brush, I'm going to walk downstairs with the toothbrush in my mouth, walk in the office, and be like, hi.
There's a part of me that's like, okay. Like, I would appreciate knowing that you're taking care of your teeth.
All right. I'll FaceTime you.
Actually, yeah, just FaceTime me every time you're in the bathroom upstairs.
Candor says Josh is just thinking about securing the job of dentist here. He's really just trying to be helpful. Exactly. Like the movie we watched yesterday. I care a lot. Yeah. And I know if something goes wrong, there's a splurge of people on here that can help.
Yeah, right.
Lena says, hey, to be fair, my dad, one of the best dentists in Finland, brushes his teeth once a month.
Oh!
What an icon.
Why? I feel like if I was a dentist, I would almost have to have near perfect teeth.
I feel like if I ate really healthy, I wouldn't have to brush my teeth as much.
Nope, get out of here. I mean, I do agree. If you don't eat as much sugar as most people, I could almost give you a pass, but I still won't.
Anthony says, if you wear a powdered wig, you will be President Washington. Oh yeah, Tim with his dentures, you should get wood ones.
Right.
But yeah, Ella says Tim is just roasting Josh. But what is something that Tim complains about and doesn't do anything about? Hang on.
I'm trying to think of it myself.
Tim is like such a doer that he won't complain about things. He'll just either keep it inside and never say it. Hang on.
Not wrong.
I'm gonna come back to that in one sec. Felix says American social media people shaving down their perfectly healthy normal teeth to get veneers, which looks super fake, is just insane to me.
I know. I don't ever want to get them.
Veneers are almost too fake looking. I think if I got dentures or something or implants, I would like mess them up a little bit just to make them look kind of real. Candor says, fun fact, Puka, oh, I love Puka, my puppy, loves the smell of toothpaste, so she can always try to crawl up my leg to get me to lean down so she can sniff my mouth while brushing.
Mm-hmm.
That's so interesting. Oh yeah, and Candor, I'll check my DMs too. Discord DMs I forget about, honestly.
Well, Josh is subscribed to like 100 servers on Discord. I don't know how you do it. That's having like 8 that I'm a part of, or I have more than 8 now. I have like 13. Ugh. Too many Discords. I'm like trying to just take care of my one, but then, you know, my friends want to make separate Discord groups, and it's a lot. Oh, I feel like this could almost get into a topic that is kind of a good one to talk about, but I do feel like having too much of like even Discord groups or messaging platforms or whatever it is, I feel like they're actually more distracting than they are useful, because that's a lot to maintain. And I have one of our friends, she gets overwhelmed by how much she has to get back to people on all these different platforms. So I think there's got to come a point where you decide what ones are the ones that you can tell are giving you energy or giving you a positive mood after talking with them, and then the other ones I would just slowly fade out of or just cut out altogether.
Wait, are we talking about teeth still?
No.
Oh, I was like, all right, feel up the mood of all your teeth.
Yeah, I like my teeth give me a good mood. No, about like having a bunch of Discord platforms. Like I think you have way too many. Looking at your Discord stresses me out.
Look, I actually unsubscribe to a bunch. It's a lot of like.
Yeah, like what?
What? This is the Discord mod one. This is for a Final Fantasy 14 roleplay server I'm on.
Oh, thank you for whoever just subscribed. Let me move this down. Oh, Michelle Gonzalez. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Candor says, why do you guys sound like my husband and I? It's getting scary. Also, can we see Casper? Maybe. I think he's sleeping still in the basement. We'll see if he wants to come up.
Let's say our next week might be our proper introduction of him, because he's still a little nervous when we pick him up. Yeah, but he's getting better. Like he does let me pick him up for the most part.
If you gotta pick him up at the best time, because if any sound happens in the house while you're holding him, he will start panicking in your hands.
Yeah. He's just a little guy.
I do love that Puka likes the smell of toothpaste though. That's so funny. I don't know of animals that like that smell.
Yeah, that's the first for me hearing that too.
Lena, oops, gotta get back to drawing and not talking about teeth. But apparently dentures, they make dentures look like a natural color, and if you just get partial dentures, they make the color match. So if your other teeth are yellow, so will they. And the Rel says normally when we do veneers, we don't do ultra white to make sure they look real. Also depends on the type of material you use if you have to remove any of the healthy teeth.
Oh, look at all these dentists
I love
in the chat. This is wonderful.
Ella says I get so easily overwhelmed and stressed out when I'm in a lot of Discords, even if I don't actually need to be active in the servers.
Mm-hmm. Feel the same way.
I probably can do a clean out again of a bunch of them, because there are a lot of men. Alright, but hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are just ones that we have together. There's like our film, the little film one we have with Kyle. We have.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds right. Yeah, 6.
We have the Drawtober one. Our weekly anime club one we have. We have the Von Art Office, the Con Artist one, and then the Von Art Community. 5 of those are just stuff for us. And then, and we have the While We're Playing WoW one, when we were playing World of Warcraft. 6.
You know what's funny is I don't actually hate World of Warcraft, or like didn't enjoy playing it. I think it's just such a time sink that like you have to be invested in it. I don't think I'm not there yet.
Oh, Candor says Opulka is a little weirdo. She had no chance with how my husband and I are. She also loves one specific song that she always wants me to pick her up and dance to. She is special. Oh, that's so cute. I feel like animals kind of pick up your personality too, which makes it fun.
I think so too.
Candor says I put Discord servers in folders and sort them by personal importance. Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know you could do that either.
Oh.
Can you really?
I'm gonna have to figure that. You might have to almost like. You can. Oh my god.
Learning something new on Discord.
Thank you, Candor.
Okay, I'm actually feeling pretty good with where I'm at right now. Oh, I think I have to actually start on some of these feathers.
Oh yeah, we're all gonna reminder we are at the halfway mark.
Oh, are we really?
A little under 45 minutes, yeah. Textree says I love that we're talking about teeth implants like it's a jean jacket. Oh, I'll mess it up a little bit so it looks better.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, I'm sure if a lot of you millennials are watching the whole debate with your parents about buying ripped jeans, I feel like everyone that I've talked to has had some kind of a form of debate with their parents about buying ripped jeans. Have you had that?
I mean, I just got to a point now where I kind of low-key lie and just be like, it happened on its own.
Yeah, but
Especially
did you ever...
recap, I'm usually just like, oh yeah, they kind of just slowly ripped.
No. I'm talking about when they know you're getting new clothes.
Yeah.
And you come home and they see... Well, maybe your parents didn't even care.
No, I've had the talk before about the jeans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was my grandpa. He's cute.
Although looking back, I'm kind of like... I kind of agree.
But my grandpa, it's like, oh, I buy my Levi's and, you know, there's nothing on it. It's just a simple denim Levi. Granted, I do kind of just like plain jeans like that now. I used to like the ripped
That's
jean
how I
look,
feel
but
too.
I kind of, well, especially now that it's winter, I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever because my kneecap's just freezing cold.
Okay, this might be also a personal preference, but I feel like you can kind of tell when someone buys jeans ripped versus if they're naturally worn and ripped.
Yeah. Well, the pre-ripped ones too, they still end up ripping more the more you wear them. So then sometimes the rip just becomes like half the jeans, just a giant rip.
Mm-hmm.
I have one pair that I can't even wear anymore because it's like from the knee up here all the way down past the kneecap, and it just doesn't work anymore.
Oh, this might be a little more trickier than I thought.
Oh yeah, Scar says, do you ever get jobs as in like drawing book covers or other such things?
I do, but I've turned all of them down in the past year, except for one that I don't think I'm allowed to talk about yet, and then what other? Oh, and then possibly a teaching gig next year. But I honestly would rather work on my own stuff for a little while. I feel like I have a lot of projects that need more of my attention. I mean, like a tarot deck in general, it's just gonna take years, and the more time and attention I can give it, the sooner it can be done. But like that's 78 cards, you know, like that's no easy feat upon itself. But I would say, yeah, when I was younger, I would take on basically any job I could get, for good or for worse. And I think it's great experience, even learning the bad ones and how to like properly deal with kind of getting taken advantage of on like a financial aspect, or kind of being able to gain some self-respect of, you know, like my time is worth more of what I got paid for this project. And then you move forward, never giving that low of a price ever again. So
that actually might be good for you if you do some of the business videos, doing that about how to know which jobs are worth taking versus not. Yeah. Because I think that's a skill that a lot of people don't. I mean, I don't either, like knowing What am I trying to say?
Yeah, where are you going with this? I
I
think what he's trying to say is I do want to make a bunch of videos about the business of art. And I think once we move everything downstairs, this would be like another great topic to discuss.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think a lot of artists get stuck in these contracts. And it's funny is I feel like I don't know a lot of friends personally that have gotten stuck in this because most of my friends are independent artists versus freelance artists, where freelancers are a totally different world than independent artists because that you're constantly looking for clientele and work that you can get paid on. And oftentimes as freelancers, they'll get paid in one large sum at the end. So you kind of have to like, what's that called? Not layer. You have to like schedule out when you're going to do certain jobs so that you can pay the bills. It's rough. And I think if you want to be a freelancer, and for those of you who might be also wondering, like, could I make it as a freelancer? Just know it is something that is going to take some time getting used to the routine of having clients, doing the work, getting paid, and finding work. Because finding work can be really difficult. And hopefully you can get to a point where you've established yourself enough where the work will come to you. And I feel like that's kind of the point that I've gotten in the last like 3 years. And then there comes a point where maybe you can start turning down a bunch of clients because you don't need the extra money and maybe you value your time more. And I feel like the older you get, maybe you have kids, maybe you have two, wormy cats, and you gotta put your time into that. So I do want to make a video though explaining like business tips for Instagram, running a Etsy store, running a personal store website, the differences between an Etsy versus a personal website, running a con booth whenever those come back on. I would love to have a video about that. And then I'm sure Josh can give a lot of tips on what it's like being an assistant at a convention, because we have a lot of friends where their job is actually not being the artist, but being the assistant or like someone that helps run the booth alongside the artist. So yeah, I really want to get into a lot of those videos. So hopefully sometime after March, because March is when we're going to start like recalibrating the whole basement. Maybe I'll even record some of the process of turning a space into like a recording area. And then hopefully I'm trying to convince Josh to start doing Twitch streams. Mm-hmm. I would love to see him do it because he's like really good at a game called Dead by Daylight. And I think he's just fun to watch. So we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Oh.
What?
No, because Candor, you can actually like then mark an entire folder as read. So I can make like a folder of my Discord servers for like Final Fantasy ones or something. And then instead of having to go through and like click each server as mark as read, because when you see the little bullet,
yeah,
you can just mark the entire folder and everything in there.
Oh,
that's so nice.
It is
like
nice.
Literally, I never thought about dragging and dropping the servers on top of each other, but that is really nice. Because now I can organize it. I can just do all the Von Art ones in one thing. Just have like 3 big folders, and then
actually I'm gonna do the same thing once the stream's over.
Oh yeah, Scar says maybe in the future I'll hire you to draw the book cover of my book once it's finished.
Yeah. In all honesty, probably I won't, just because like I said, I rarely do commission work anymore, and I'm so behind on like my personal projects that I couldn't even imagine trying to like slip something new in. And I would really have to reserve it for something either that like pays a lot, or is like a dream project of mine. Like if I could work on a Final Fantasy game as like a freelancer, I think I would just do it in a heartbeat. Just because I feel Squeenix gave me so much of my childhood inspirations that I would want to give back. And I don't know, maybe I could help them with some gaudy fantasy designs, because I think, especially the trailer for the new game, I think they're going more like rooted fantasy, very Game of Thronesy. But I don't know, I think it would be fun to throw some fantastical elements in there.
We'll see. I mean, we're prejudging the new one because it could actually be...
It could be really good. You're right. And
I think the trailer was really weird, and it felt very unfinished.
I feel bad that I had a reaction like I did in September, and I actually had someone call me out being like, I don't think it's right for you to just dislike something. without actually playing it. And after, like, in the moment, I was like, well, yeah, but I can, visually see what I like and what I don't like. But after I thought about it for a while, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna wait to actually play the game. And what's the point of just like spouting a negative energy on Instagram? To make myself feel better, to make myself feel validated is like my taste level. Like, why am I doing this? And then when I really thought about it, I was like, you know what? I just don't think it's worth posting anything negative on social media in general. Like, if you want to have discussion about what you find as a flaw in like the trailer, talk with your friends. And I think that's been kind of my mantra with Instagram since September. And it's been working out great because guess what? People don't like seeing negative things all the time. It's like shocker, but I think like drama can be enticing to people, but I think like just pure negative energy, I think actually dissuades people from wanting to check out your work or to follow you. So I think it's good to have an opinion, and I think you can definitely post that. But if it's just like a negative, like complaining about things, or your energy just always seems to be wah, 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 I would honestly just say that would be the first thing I would maybe take another look at and be like, is this helping anything? Is this helping me as an artist? Is it helping me as a brand, as a person? Okay. You can see how like I avoided the feathers because I just really I almost need like, if I did this digitally, it'd been so much easier. You know what, I'm gonna make this grayscale.
Anthony says there's this thing called the Graphic Artists Guild, and they release this constantly updated book called Pricing and Ethical Guidelines Handbook. It has how to do pricing for every field. It's
so funny you said that. My friend Deandra literally mentioned this to me last weekend. I've never even heard of this before, but yeah, it's on like the 16th or 17th edition, I believe. And she said it's like highly recommended. So if any of you are looking into that kind of stuff, because you know why we were talking about the new what they didn't teach you in art school book, and like I think it's fine, but I think it's more for like high schoolers or like maybe artists just either entering college or maybe like mid college, where I feel like the book that she mentioned, the one that you mentioned, probably is more for artists actually working in the field. And obviously I haven't read it yet, so I can't fully say if I know whether or not that's what it is. But from what she told me, she said it was very good and did a lot of the things that are more necessary for working artists.
Kendra says, oh my god, I love D by D, and we should try to play together sometime. Of course. It's like, I think over League and all the other kind of competitive sort of games I've played, I think D by D's been the one that stuck the most for me so far. I think because every match feels so different. It's just fun.
Well, I feel like they're just long enough. Like they're enjoyable, where even if you know you're probably going to lose, it's not that big of a time sink. But if you win, it's like, oh, yeah. That was like 15 minutes maybe.
It's pretty satisfying. I like the chases too. It's fun.
Josh is so good at that part.
Hannah. Hannah's my best friend. Hannah
Hey,
says,
Hannah.
I'd watch some Josh gaming streams. Heck yeah.
Hannah, he's so good at Dead by Daylight. He's so good.
We'll see.
Just try to keep texting him. Be like, you should get a Twitch. You should be on Twitch.
Ella says, well, if Josh is going to have his own streams, then I don't have a reason to show up to these ones. Oh, Ella.
Yeah. Just don't. If you want to see some real action, watch Josh play some D by D and confuse the killer for a good 30 seconds to a minute.
Well, we talked about doing either like joint things or like Tim can draw and I'll play, and it's kind of just more a chat and game session. We'll see. There's a lot
if we can figure it out, I would be down for that.
Yeah,
I think somehow figure that out. Because we could both be in the basement. You would just be on the computer. I'd probably be on a desk.
We can like just drink and hang out and
yeah. Drink our meal. When we say drink, it's not like we're drinking liquor.
I mean, no, I'm talking about liquor, Tim.
No, if we started streaming and getting drunk, I feel like that would be like a really bad habit to feel like we'd have to upkeep. And I've been really good to my body the last couple of years.
Yeah, no.
But maybe every now and then, maybe a little Crown Royal.
Yeah.
On
no,
ice.
I'm not saying like every stream. We're just getting wasted on every stream.
Cuts to 3 months later. Josh, like every stream. Doesn't even play video games anymore.
Literally just like falling asleep in the stream.
The stream's like you, like passed out. There's some throw.
Drilling. Yeah. Good times. Oh yeah, you blocked the timer too. I can't see. You're just trying to sabotage me. All right, 28 minutes left.
Wait, you can see it?
I seen it on the big screen.
Killing me, Smalls. Okay, let's see here. Actually, I'm feeling pretty good with the time. I don't know how you guys are doing. Is there anywhere, if any of you have questions of like feeling stuck on a particular section of the bird? Otherwise, we're just going to keep jabbing. Oh, that's what we've been watching. That's been amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Drag Race UK.
Oh yeah.
Guys,
oh my
honestly,
God.
we've been watching, obviously we're homosexuals, so we've been keeping up with Drag Race. Homosexuals. But we decided to do the UK one because I watched this like best seasons YouTube video, and the UK one was like really high up on it. So I was like, Josh, let's rent the UK one. It's so pleasant. Everyone is just in a great mood, and I feel like they don't take it as seriously as the American one. So while you're watching it, you genuinely feel the excitement and kind of fun comedic energy that they're all giving off. Where in America, I feel like there's a lot of like stress and tension that you can kind of feel from each of the queens.
I think the first UK season's been like my favorite Drag Race season I've seen in a while.
I mean, for you, probably ever, because you haven't seen that many, right? Because I thought you said you haven't seen.
I've seen like some of the older ones, but no, not that many.
Oh, you really like the 6th one.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I really like that one too.
I just like it though. And then the second season, hopefully we can find where to watch it at, because haven't you heard really good things about that one?
Yep.
That's the one I don't know, I just feel like they all, obviously they take what they're doing seriously,
but they have fun
have fun with it, and they also don't take it seriously enough that like they can kind of rag at each other, and it's not, none of them take it super seriously, and I like that.
Which I kind of wish how the art world was a little bit more, because I feel like everyone's a little sensitive in the art world when it comes to critique or specifically critique, where I feel like they take critique very well, and they kind of adapt to that critique and then work with it. I don't know if it's an America thing primarily, but I feel like we have this weird level of expectation set on not only ourselves but everyone in our field as well. I mean, I kind of have that too. So we take things very seriously, and I think we forget sometimes the fun and like the joy of why we do art in the first place, you know? And I feel like it's easy to get wrapped up into how I stack up against other artists, and I want to be seen as prolific, or I want to be seen as a great artist.
Oh, and I can't wait to see the UK season of Drag Race. I mean, if you come visit here, we can watch it together. It's so good. We have it it's on Amazon, the first season, but we can't find the second season. And I don't know if it's just because isn't it still airing right now?
Yeah, so we'd have to
maybe
like
it like comes out. But it's been so much fun. Yeah, I do think. Well, it was weird because one of the people, Vivian, I didn't like at first, but the more I've been watching her, I'm like, oh yeah, because she doesn't just give critique either. She gives advice for it. It's not like you have to take it. But she's not just being like shady for the sake of being shady either. It's just she'll give a critique and be like, I think you can try this out, and I think it would look better or do better for you. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just feel like they're really fun to watch. I mean, the newest season of the US Drag Race has been fun too. Yeah. Just the tone is definitely very different than the UK one. Ken, we're such a Gemini thing to do, Schwa. I would say it was block 2 just because I like the layout better, even if I can see it in the other screen. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, it's just there. It's really big and I can see it. Also, I'm not the most think out of the box person either, so I kind of forgot that I have the little screen in front of me. But
you know what's funny? You know how I'm a Libra? So I officially found out my sun and moon signs. I mean, I don't know.
Are they all Libra?
They're all Libra.
Oh, no.
So I'm like a Libra through and through. Which I totally would say that makes sense. I'm not someone that like fully believes in astrology, but I like to think that it's real, even if it's not, just because it's fun.
I just like to tip Tim's scales around a little bit.
Get out of here. That was actually kind of clever.
Yeah. Mika says, once I move to the new apartment, I will definitely come and join your live streams. Seems like a lot of fun and everyone seems so chill here. Yes, of course.
Yeah. When I feel like it'll be much more structured and we'll have more of a layout on YouTube. Because right now it's literally our heads in a gold box and then that's kind of it.
It works.
I do want to get more fun things though and have the streams be more, I don't know, just more in general. That's the American in me that's like, more is better. Yeah, more.
Give me more.
I actually like how this is looking.
Oh, best of luck on your move too. I know that's always a fun, stressful time.
Oh, I am not a fan of moving. I wish you the best of luck.
Tim and I never want to move out of this house.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I feel like at this point now we can collect and add to this house as much as we want without worrying about like how do we move this out or. Yeah, it's really nice. Hannah says that would be so much fun. Eli and I are still planning to visit in late March, early April. Eli is also a Libra.
Oh, that makes sense.
We love our Libras.
You guys like a good balance in your life, you know? Someone to balance out everything that might be going on.
Balance out the crazy? Is that what you're saying? No.
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, when Hannah comes visit, we could all watch the Hobbit movies because the last time we watched all the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, God. Those are horrible, but we could.
And for those of you who don't know, that was the first time I watched Lord of the Rings. I have to admit, the first one I think is excellent.
That was such a fun
It's such a good movie.
I had so much fun. It was just nice. We all sat on the couch watching like 3 to 5 hour movies. I thought that was really nice. There's just something about like movie nights with friends where it's just like.
Well, those are
good
experiences. That's not just like an hour and a half viewing experience. That's like a 4 hour plus commitment. And you're like,
yeah.
all right, here we go.
I mean, personally, I would love to do like a Harry Potter marathon again.
Actually, I would do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember the movies 5 and up at all. Like, I remember obviously the ending, but like, if you had to tell me what happens in the 6th movie, and if you were like, Tim, you would get $10,000, I couldn't tell you one thing. I don't even know what the book title is.
For what?
Wait, maybe I do. Is it Goblet of Fire and then Order of the Phoenix?
Are you going in the order?
Yeah, 4 is Goblet of Fire.
Yeah,
5 would be...
I thought you were starting at 1 at first. I was like, Tim, you're
I want to say
off.
5 is Order of the Phoenix.
Yes.
And then 6 is Half-Blood Prince.
Perfect. And
then...
the final book?
Oh, wait, hold on. You know what's funny is I can remember the covers more than I can remember the names. You know what's funny is I don't think I remember.
I'll give you the first word, maybe?
No, first letter.
D.
Nope.
E.
Dementor. Oh, Deathly Hollow?
Perfect.
Okay.
You got it. Good job. Good job.
I know my Harry Potter lore.
But yeah, I think it's just nice having friends. You can sometimes feel comfortable just like chilling on the couch and watching a movie together.
Well, I love watching fantasy stuff with friends.
It is this one. I mean, the Harry Potter movie is the first. Actually, yeah, Felix just wrote it. The Harry Potter movies are great. 1 through 3. Everything after that pales in comparison. I agree. I think the first 3 were great. My personal favorite is actually the second one. I love the first one. I think the second one just has like the right feeling for me.
I'd have to rewatch the second one. I don't remember the second one, but I remember the first one I thought was perfect for what it was.
The third one, it was weird. The third one was definitely weird the first time I watched it because the style of the film, the vibe, like I use this word a lot right now. The vibe was a lot different.
Vibe check.
But I liked it. Because it was more artistic. I mean, more like artistic with the film style, which was fun.
I don't know if this bothered any of you guys watching Harry Potter, but I felt like as soon as they started wearing normal clothes, quote unquote, it like threw me out.
A little bit, yeah.
Like I liked the first movie when they're constantly wearing their like wool sweaters or the uniforms or the long capes and the robes and the hats. And then the third movie was like, here's high school drama with magic. I didn't really vibe with that as much.
I mean, you always talk about like Jim Henson. Like a Jim Henson Lord of the Rings, I think would be really cool. So just have a really fun fantasy vibe. But even a Jim Henson, honestly, Harry Potter would be kind of a cool.
Yeah,
feeling too.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it would have such a more fantastical feeling.
Or imagine if Harry Potter was hand drawn or something. I don't think animated, like 3D animated, because I feel like sometimes there's a lot of shortcuts that are used. But when you do hand drawn, I feel like there's just a little bit more love and attention. Or stop motion. Imagine if Harry Potter was like a stop motion in the style of like James and the Giant Peach.
Oh my god, yeah.
Ugh, I think that would just be wonderful.
Quite the project, though. There's so much. Hannah says the Hobbit trilogy isn't as good as Lord of the Rings, but still fun to watch. We could definitely do a Harry Potter marathon, even like I did that last summer. Yeah, I feel like the Hobbits would be fun just to watch to kind of poke fun at it a little bit too. The first one I think was okay. But then they just got progressively more.
I'd say everyone that I talk to about it, they hate the Hobbit movies. They're not a fan.
I mean, there's parts in it I think that are fun to watch. Like even Radagast, I think as much as I was not a fan of them adding him to the movie, to the movie.
Oh, is that the Dark Prince?
No, he's the other wizard. He's the
There's another wizard.
I know this better. He's the like earthy, foresty wizard.
Oh,
I think is he a gray wizard or brown wizard? He's a brown wizard, I think. Hannah's like my encyclopedia of anything Lord of the Rings, so...
Yeah, she's really good at that. I feel like I'm the same way with Kat with Harry Potter. She knows everything Harry Potter, and she used to know everything Game of Thrones, but after the 8th season, I feel like she's purposely trying to forget everything. She felt betrayed. She felt like...
I think a lot of people felt that with Game of Thrones.
I mean, yeah.
It was kind of like that, what's the point of even... I don't even want to rewatch this show because the ending now just...
That's what Kat says too.
Yeah.
She's like, I will never rewatch it.
Why do I watch it when that's what I know they do with it? There's no satisfying ending to it. So what's the point? Oh yeah, Hannah says, I love the Hogwarts uniforms. It was sad when they stopped wearing them. I know. I love the robes. I remember as a kid, I got a robe and ran around my house with it, like where it flew in the back because I just felt like a Hogwarts student.
I feel like, yeah, if Hogwarts was real and we were attending it, you probably wouldn't want to be just like, look at I am magical and I'm a witch or I'm a warlock.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming at some point you're like, yeah, I want to wear Gucci.
Oh, can we talk about... Oh my God. No, I would love the uniform.
Yeah, but you would think Muggle trends would still kind of trend in the wizard world. You know?
Yeah, probably.
Like makeup trends and all that. Like would they be recording YouTube videos? I do feel like technology kind of ruins the lore of Harry Potter because one kid would give it away, or a bunch of kids would give it away.
It's not. I mean, there's just that little bit. You have to detach a little bit from reality with it and be like, yeah, this could work. But I love the Hogwarts Legacy game that comes out now next year.
Oh, I'm gonna for sure play that.
I'm gonna be putting so much time into that game. Rawl says, don't bring up the Game of Thrones trauma.
Well, I was definitely one of those people where I stopped watching after season 3. So I was here with a bunch of my roommates who were like very invested in it, and they brought me along. They're like, Tim, you should just at least watch the final season. Yeah, we were all
here. It was Sean, Tyler, we all watched it.
Yeah, there were what, 6 of us at the time?
Yeah.
And I think at that time I was just so bitter. I was like, I don't think it's that good as it used to be. And I think the first season was the best. Like that was me back in the day. And then watching the 8th season, everyone else is like just in like shock and horror, and I'm like, I'm like eating my popcorn, like I told you so.
We're like crying, destroyed.
I remember being like, I just don't think they have the writing capability to end this correctly. And then when it ended, I was like, popcorn.
I really came to love Cersei. Her character, I know she's evil, whatever, but I liked her.
Isn't it Cersei?
Maybe
Cersei.
I just liked her a lot, and they just did her completely dirty. I guess she had it coming, but still. I'll make sure I don't miss anybody. We have Potter Puppet Pals already, and we all know that's perfection.
Yeah, that one's great. That was like grade school. I forgot about Potter Puppet Pals. I
mean, I was obsessed with Harry Potter too. I did like these fan events. I would fall asleep. I listened to 2 podcasts. It was the Leaky Cauldron. There was this website called Leaky Cauldron that did a lot of Harry Potter news and stuff. But it was Pottercast and Mugglecast. I listened to these 2 podcasts all the time. Then I got into Harry and Hermione shippers. Because I always thought Harry and Hermione were like a cute match. So there's this one. It was called Harmony Podcast. That was the fandom name. Was Harmony. Was Harry and Hermione.
I still kind of want Harry and Hermione to get together.
So I listened to this Harmony podcast, and she would just read fan fictions, and I would just like fall asleep to that. 'Cause she had like a really calm voice. I liked her.
Maybe that's why I don't remember anything in like the 5th movie up, because maybe I just didn't like the relationships that were
like
forming.
Hermione and Ron. I mean, I thought Hermione and Ron were a cute match. I always wanted Harry and Hermione.
I don't know if this is just me. This could just be me. But I think it's kind of weird if you have a best friend and then you start to fall in love with your best friend's younger sister. I think it's a little weird.
Oh, with Ginny and Harry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did no one else think that was kind of weird? I thought that was kind of weird.
I mean, movie Ginny was a little... It felt forced, too. They didn't have, like, good on-stream chemistry, I guess. So it was kind of... The movie... In the books, it made more sense.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well, even still, though. Imagine if, like, okay, let me think of a good example. Like, if me, well, this is, I guess, if I was straight. If me and Sean, like, he's one of my best friends, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, your older sister's single now? Like,
yeah, get it, Tim.
Doesn't that seem weird? I don't know.
I don't know, yeah. It's a
that
little...
always came across to me as a little weird.
Cameron, hope you guys are well. Haven't checked in since late September, so I'm glad to see you both alive and well.
Hello.
Thank you, Cameron. Good to see you. We're always here every Wednesday, so whenever you want to stop by.
I know, slightly new time slot though.
Yeah, everyone's kind of a little PO'd that we brought up the last season of Game of Thrones.
I'm sorry.
It definitely is a little traumatizing. I was like, we do not talk about the last season. It really hurt to watch. Every episode, you got more and more disappointed. Yeah, it was not a good time.
You know what though? As much as I was popcorning the whole time, there was a small part of me that did kind of feel bad for the people that were really invested. Because like my best friend Kat, I mean, she read all the books, she loved the lore, she bought some of the merch, and like it was really sad. She said like the final episode or the second to last episode, she was like crying.
The last season is like what addiction, like drug addiction is. Because
where is this analogy going?
Because you could tell it was just going south every episode,
oh.
But then there's that draw of like, maybe it'll get better, maybe it's gonna get better, so then you keep going back and watching it and you're like getting more and more disappointed. Like there's that high of the episode starts, that do you're like, okay,
you remember how good it was,
fine. It's gonna get better, and then you're just disappointed again and it crushes you, and then you're like, you know what, next week I'm gonna do it again, we're gonna try this out, and it just got...
Well, it's like, remember, this is the same team that did the Red Wedding. This is the same team that did the whole Ned Stark arc. Like, we got this. Like, come on. They'll pull it together. And then, nope.
Alina says that when I was teaching, a lot of the kids told me they didn't want to watch Lord of the Rings because they don't think it's worth it since the Hobbit movies were so bad, and it broke my heart. Oh, I think it's hard because you have to look at them as two separate things. But I could see it being hard because for us, I grew up with the Lord of the Rings movies coming out. The Hobbit movies came out years separately. Where like kids now, they're all out at once. So it's like, where do you start? It's kind of like, I guess, Star Wars maybe in a way.
Star Wars,
too.
Harry Potter, Twilight, Hunger Games. All of these series that have concluded, I think it's a little harder to get excited about them because there's no hype, there's no weight, there's no buildup of anticipation. Actually, what series is ongoing right now? Because 50 Shades of Grey. But no, that concluded.
No, I don't know.
I don't think there is an ongoing series right now.
I'm sure there is something, but we probably just don't know about it.
Because what's the Maze Runner finished?
I actually really like the Maze Runner movies.
Yeah, I like the first one. I don't think I've seen the other ones.
I have a little crush on Dylan O'Brien.
Did Percy Jackson
do you
finish?
Do you like Dylan O'Brien? I think he's just really cute.
He's cute.
Okay, not your type.
No, he's definitely my type in terms of like how attractive he is, but I think as an actor, he's fine.
Okay.
You know how sometimes you can see pretty people rely on their laurels, and I feel like with acting, sometimes that's the case where you're like, well, you're pretty. I don't know if you're a great actor.
It works. It has. I like. She played in Skins, Effie. I forget the name of the actress. I like her too.
Oh, I have no idea who you're talking about.
But she was in Maze Runner too. I loved. Oh my god, a little bit less than 10 minutes. You're at like 8 minutes 50.
Okay.
I loved. Hannah will attest to this too. I loved Hunger Games, the books and the movies. And I know people hate on the Hunger Games movies, but I actually was okay with the movies too.
Well, I feel like you're the demographic.
What does that mean, Tim?
You like little romance. You like teen-centric dramas.
Yeah, and the ending. Oh my god, with PETA, and I cry.
Actually, you're gonna think this is crazy. I didn't see the last movie.
Can we watch the last movie?
I just don't have a desire to.
Can we please watch the last movie?
It's one of those things, like I was telling Josh too, the Twilight movies, I actually read Twilight and New Moon, but I only watched the first 3 movies. I had no idea how it actually ended because I didn't care to know. Like I think there comes a point where I'm so disenchanted.
We're watching the last movie, Tim. You need to
Is it good?
Yes,
it's
amazing.
I'm asking the chat. Chat, is the last Hunger Games movie good compared to like the first one? I didn't actually, to be honest, I didn't even think the first one was great either. Oh,
Tim, I mean,
I know it's become kind of a joke, but when PETA painted his face as a rock and then had it face up, I was dying laughing.
He fooled them. Why can't that work?
Why would you put your face up? What if someone steps on you?
Honestly, I kind of took on PETA's personality as a kid. Like,
what?
I liked PETA a lot.
Maybe this is a hot take, but I thought they were kind of average at best.
We're gonna watch. Actually, no, it's not just the last one. I'm making you watch all of them.
we're just gonna marathon all of them.
Tim and I are doing like date nights once a week, and in mine, I'm gonna, because it's my pick. I will force us to watch all of them at once.
See, these are the things we should be.
No, when Hannah's here, that's what we do.
These are the things we should be streaming so that people can see like our reactions.
Yeah, Hannah, when you come over, we are gonna watch those.
There was one other thing that really threw me off. It was, they pick these kids from each district, right?
Yeah.
And they're like randomly chosen kids, and they all get together. I'm like, these are assassins that have clearly been trained and like ready to kill other children.
Yeah.
There's no way that these are all randomly selected children that are like forced to go into
They can volunteer. No, you can volunteer to be put in.
How many of the 13 kids
Some of the kids train, not all the districts. There's like, I think it was district 1 through 3, they have more like finances and money, so
I
they
guess that would
actually
make more
train
sense.
Kids since birth to go into the arena. So that's why some of those ones were like out for blood, because they were trained to go in there and kill.
Who was the one girl? The girl with the black hair. She was like comically villainous. And same with the guy.
I can't remember.
Who was the main killer guy?
The one with the blonde hair?
Yeah.
The other kind of cute guy? Oh my god, I can't remember their names right now.
Anyways.
We'll watch those movies.
But that's another thing where like, I'm not going to just talk trash about something. Like, I know there's a lot of people that enjoy it. So I'm just going to say, I'm glad that it is entertaining.
Oh, we could do a Discord movie night sometime. Actually, on Twitch, you can stream Prime movies. So as long as the viewers have Prime, you can watch a movie all together.
Really?
Yeah, and it's kind of cute.
Oh, I didn't know they did that on Twitch.
So if Hunger Games are on Prime Video, we could. Hannah says, I adore the Hunger Games. The books were better, but the movies are great too. Totally agree with you.
Josh is 100% on board.
Well, that was like Hannah and I bonded too when we were at church together.
Really?
We would just sit and like talk about Hunger Games.
I mean, that's cute.
Because the books are great. I thought the books are actually really fun.
I've heard the books are really good.
Yeah. Elena says Hunger Games got me into reading and into university to study literature and then into teaching literature. So Hunger Games is always close to my heart. Oh. I feel like that's, I don't know. Hunger Games was, I don't know, we grew up with. It was like Harry Potter. It was like a lot of us that love Harry Potter. It was another series that we got into.
I guess the thing that I've become very aware of recently.
5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. Are nostalgia blinders, where I tried rewatching Digimon and it kind of broke my heart because I was like, oh no, I don't think this is actually good.
I promise you, I can watch Hunger Games and there are no nostalgia blinders. I liked the movies. I liked the music. I liked the sounds. It was just, I don't know.
I like the sounds.
I feel like I missed some things. Hang on. Yeah, Scar. Oh, I think this is about Harry and Ginny, I'm thinking. I don't think it's weird. However, it made no sense in the movie since they barely even spoke to one another.
Yeah, maybe because I didn't read the book 5 and up. I guess watching it on screen, I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, there was build up before it happened in the movie too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe then I wouldn't have such a weird.
It wasn't like one day Harry woke up and was like, "Wow, Ron's sister." And
like I really like Ron's family. Can I get in on that?
Mrs. Weasley's taken, but Munich says in Germany we have a YouTuber who did parody dubs of Harry Potter and now has a podcast where she analyzes 5 minutes of the first Harry Potter movie, and it is amazing, honestly, which shows English for others to enjoy.
I mean, yeah.
That'd be kind of fun, yeah. I always love dubbed things too sometimes. Me and my sister growing up, we would watch TV sometimes and mute it and then just do dub overs. I always thought that was funny.
I want to do dub overs on, what was the one thing we watched? Oh, Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh my god.
Because, okay, if you guys ever watch that again and during like Christmas time or holiday, watch the background actors only. I promise you'll get a chuckle or two because the commitment to overacting is so strong that it is laughably outrageous. I'll just say that. And I want to dub them because there are so many times where they're like, oh, what? Like it's like acting 101 for kids, but they're adults. And like they're getting paid for this and they're committing to the role of background actor 42.
Oh, Ella says you can screen share on a Discord call. It's not the most legit way, but...
Okay, I'm feeling pretty good where the bird's at. I might use a darker pencil to darken some of these areas, but...
He's so pretty.
I feel like the highlight is wrong.
Wish I could pet a bird. Their little bellies look so fluffy.
I probably should have given myself about 10 minutes to do the darkening, but I'll do what I can with the time allowed.
Hannah says yes, please, to Hunger Games movie marathon. Tim?
You know what? Kat will want to come to that because she really loves the Hunger Games series too. So maybe you guys will change my opinion on it.
That'd be so much fun. Make a bunch of popcorn. Just have a good time watching them. Great movies.
Just excellent cinema.
Well, and those we could watch it all in one night compared to Lord of the Rings, where
True.
It's like that's too much to do in one
Well,
night.
no, those are still kind of long, aren't they? Like 2 hours each.
We could do it though. Josh Andrew Wisdom says, has there been any interesting developments with your mermaid mural?
It's literally right there.
So
part of the reason why I haven't worked on it is because of COVID and because of the pandemic. I feel like without having conventions, money has been like a constant stressor. I try not to talk about this too much on the streams, but it has been a little loopy because Josh quit his full-time job like 2 months before the pandemic hit to help me out with work and doing all these conventions and whatnot. So I'm trying to keep my focus on things that I still really enjoy doing. So they're really fun to do, like a card deck or a tarot deck or whatever it is. And there's a profit behind it that I know could be made, but I still have to enjoy it. Where like the mermaid mural, yes, I could probably make money with like Patreon and showing more behind the scenes stuff of it, but it's more profitable to have an actual product that we can ship, have a seeable profit. Oh gosh, should I just talk through the whole timer? All right, well, let me get that going.
Beautiful.
But I do plan on in May picking it back up, and I want to do at least an hour a day, so I'll do the progress pictures because it's Mermay. And by then, we'll have the downstairs room all set up, so I'll be able to put it downstairs. Because I think this room also isn't great for it, because I have to draw on the floor because it's so big. And I actually don't have enough room in here, especially with the new cat now, to do it. But yeah, I do plan on getting back to it. And I'm sorry for those of you who are like excited about new updates on that one. I promise I will get back to it.
Yeah, you got through so much of it too.
I know I was on such a good roll, and then COVID hit, and I was like, well, I feel guilty working on this because I know this won't be finished for a few years. So I don't know. Okay, anyways, here is my Kingfisher. I definitely could spend just probably another 10 minutes darkening up like the areas around here. But for those of you who followed along with me today, if you want to start posting your birds in the Discord channel, the stream follow along, and I will go ahead and do critiques of your work. And if you don't want to stay for the critiques, I just want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us for this past hour and a half. And if you could leave a like before you leave, that always helps the YouTube algorithm. And we're going to go ahead and look at your guys' work. Overall, I would say let me actually look at it from straight down. Yeah, I definitely think I need to make some things darker. I need to clean up some of the triangles. I think that, though, I really need to use my Orens and like get this close to the drawing so I can really get those triangles all set and done. But you know what? I'm actually pretty proud of this.
That's beautiful.
I hope you guys had fun with this one, because I actually had fun during it. And sometimes I feel like when I'm more relaxed during a stream, I feel like the results tend to be better because of that too. All right, let me move some things around before I switch over though. Make that back color. Oh, I'm seeing you guys starting to post here. Okay, so you and I can switch.
Cameron says y'all are sleeping in the best cinematic universe. We need a Barbie movie marathon.
I did hear. Oh no, it's not Barbie. It's the Tinkerbell one. The what is it? Never Beast. I hear that one's actually pretty good.
I love that you brought that up because I was watching these YouTube videos about. It was one of the Barbie movies that it was like she throws so much shade in the movie, and it was just all these like weird one-liners that Barbie had. Yeah, Barbie threw a lot of shade in one of the movies.
I mean, you gotta remember,
Barbie be out here.
Barbie is not like a newcomer. She's an OG veteran.
Oh yeah.
She was here before all these new sassy brat dolls.
Barbie's like, y'all are trying to cancel me. I'm gonna come out with the shade.
I need this, please. Okay, so now for each critique, Josh will read what you guys wrote. So if you want to write something, I should have said this before you posted, but like something you felt you either did well or want to work on more, or just something you specifically want a critique on.
I do think you can, if you did post, I think you can actually edit, can't you, in Discord?
Oh, you can, you're right.
Yeah,
right.
so you can always add afterwards too. You don't have to though either if you don't want to. Alright, so looks like Zadric did theirs earlier today.
Oh.
Zadric says, well, I did this earlier than the stream since I have a morning class. Kind of like how this turned out, but I hope the background didn't ruin it.
Hold on, I'm going to rearrange some things here. There we go.
Barbie low-key savage. She eats brats for breakfast.
Okay, so looking at this, I would say overall the proportions are pretty good. He does feel a little top-heavy. Feels a little more like the head's a bit big for the body. I think if you just made the head a bit smaller, because he kind of has more of a boxy feel in like its shape. I think something that I noticed immediately is whenever you do a highlight on an eye, I would make it very specific on how you want it to look. So in the reference, you can see it's more of a dot with maybe like another little highlight on the actual upper lid. It's deceiving and it's deceptive because the lids are both black. So two black lids on a black eyeball. It looks like there's two highlights on the eyeball, but it's actually a highlight on the eyelid and a highlight on the, oh gosh, I'm not even gonna be able to say that word, on the actual eyeball. So I would make the one on the eyeball more circular, because this kind of gives the impression that if it's reflecting the sun, that the sun would be reflecting in like a perfect circle. And then on other areas like the eyelid, that's where it might get a little flatter or distorted. So just something as simple as that you can see before and after, where it feels like the eye is blurry or in motion, but by just simplifying it and bringing the highlight down to an isolated form, I think it just reads better. I think you're doing some really good stuff with adding texture and like implementing what would that be called? Is it implication? Implying feathers and that texture on the surface there. I do think I feel like there's a little bit too much black in some areas, and I feel like this is a critique that I gave Jonathan last week on maybe using a base color of like in this case for the bird, like a blue, like a dark blue rather than black, because some of that black is pulling through the drawing, and I think it reads as like a shadow. But sometimes if you use a color that's a part of the subject matter you're going to be working with, when it bleeds through, or if it bleeds through, it'll just read more natural because of that. Overall, though, I think you did a good job. And I know like the head design and the triangle feathers on the wing are very difficult. So working digitally, you do have the kind of privilege of making one really nice one and then copy and pasting it where you need to go. And then like slightly editing it, maybe to like stretching the feathers out or adding more of a break in between some of them. I think that would help out too. And then you can see in the brown parts of the feathers, I would just add some more stray lines, especially like near the eye, because you don't want it to read as a flat color. Because you did a good job with the blue, but I think I would carry that into the brown as well. Okay, and that was yours.
So next we have Lena. Before I renew with watercolors, this is the finished line art. Lena does have a partially watercolored one posted after this one too.
Ooh, oh, I love this. So I think though your style reads really cool to me. I love the look of this. It's like a very textured, almost like grainy blocking of different shapes. And you're smart with doing line weighting because you still separated the shapes really well, where I can tell where the wing begins, where it ends, because the lines here are a bit thicker and darker than the lines within the actual body of the bird. I would say proportions are a little off. I think, especially looking at like whereas there's more of a flatness versus a curve, I think his back specifically, you could have really shaved off most of the hump here. I think that could have helped a little bit. And then I think the positioning, let me turn him. Maybe that's the, there we go. Yeah, I think just like minor positioning things. Like if you look at his eye, you can kind of tell if you split the head in half, looking at it from, like if this was our box here, do that. You can see how the eye is on the right side of the bird, where if we boxed yours out, it's kind of like dead set in the middle. And I think I would have just pulled it more on this side here. And then honestly, I think I would have extended the back of the head further as well. But I think it needs to be brought down. So those are just some proportion issues. Let me go check the watercolor version you have.
I'm loving these colors.
Oh, you're doing an excellent job with the watercolor so far. It's a little harder for me to critique watercolor because I'm not as comfortable or familiar with the medium. But I can say from what I see, the colors do feel very natural. You're not like going for obnoxious cyan or a really bold orange. And I think that's good. When doing nature studies or things that are found in the natural world, I would try to keep it as earthy in tones and tints as you can, because I think sometimes it can look very cartoony if you go for a more Fruit Loopy color. Because even this bird, even though he's like a blue, if we look at the blue on a color picker, you can see the saturation, it's only halfway up the bar, where it's not like this type of a blue, where if we were, let me do that again. Grab the blue. If you were using this blue, you see how this kind of turns it into more of a graphic design or more cartoony. So I'm glad that you seem to be working with more natural colors. I'd be very curious to see how this goes, but I think my biggest critique for you would be proportioning, but I love the way you're texturing. I would continue down that path, especially with all your work. I think it's great.
Wait, I'm sure, because it's blocking the left side, do we just go full screen? Oh, because the stuff you're doing.
That's just for me. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No.
We could just full screen it.
No, it's fine. Because I would rather them see this more.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you. I think you did I really like your style, and I really like that texture that you build up. Okay. Oh, you did the one in the thumbnail.
So next up is Anthony. Here's the Kingfisher I did next to the reference. I feel like I could have done better with the proportions of the head, but overall I'm really happy with the way this turned out.
I mean, honestly, the proportions really aren't that bad at all. I would say like if you did a quick liquify on it, I don't know if you're working in Photoshop or if you're doing this on an iPad, but I think this would be like a really easy quick fix. Let me push that down. Oh wait, I'm gonna show backdrop. The eye maybe a little higher. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of working digitally, is you have these tools where you can push and pull things on the go. And maybe the beak, turn it down just a touch and maybe a little in. So yeah, I mean, if you have a digital software that can handle this type of moving things around, I would work with it. Just remember, it's a tool that is meant to be used at your disposal. So you can see how even just like minor touches can really make it feel more proportional. Overall, I think you did a really good job. I mean, I'm sure that you're color picking from the reference, but I do think that's the best way, or that's one of the best ways to get comfortable working with colors, because then you might be like, oh yeah, this blue isn't as saturated as I normally thought, and I feel like you'll visually pick up little cues. Actually, can you have my glasses?
Oh yeah.
I have to wear those ultralight protector glasses. I'm so old now. I think the best way though, if you really want to get comfortable with working with color, is try color picking without actually picking from the source. So literally like go to your color picker and pick a blue that you feel looks like it and see how that goes for you. And that was my best way of learning color back when I was in college. And I think it's just stuck over the years where I try not to color pick too much from a reference image. Overall though, no, I think you did a good job. I think the feet look a little flat, but I think that's a time thing. Same with the wood. I can tell you spent more of your time on the head and some of the feathers, so I think you did a great job. And even the shine, I think it's really interesting how the highlight on the top of the beak isn't a white shine, it's more tinted blue, or it has a tone of blue because of the reflection of the sky, and it's like bouncing the light back onto the top of the beak, and the beak's so reflective that's why you get more of that blue tint. So I'm glad that you picked that up. But I think you're being too harsh on yourself. I think this looks good. Just those like little adjustments, and then maybe even like you can see the belly is a little lighter. Just maybe pull back from your drawing and like look at them side by side, or even walk away from it, and then when you come back you might realize, wow, yeah, the color is definitely different here and there. So yeah, good job.
Next up we have eunuch with more letters. I try not to color pick, but had to sometimes. Proportions are a bit off too. No liquify tool. Also, I don't know how to render it all. Got kind of lost with all the colors, and I have no idea how to get rid of the digital look, since my program's texture brushes are kind of meh. Well, and plus you dealt with some issues with your tablet halfway through too, so you kind of missed out on some time there.
Okay, so I think for you specifically, I think building a good base and like a good foundation is honestly better to have than a drawing that has a lot of details that feel unfinished or misaligned or doesn't really fit. So what I'm looking at when I see this is like the base that you'll draw your details on top of. So I feel like you got a pretty good base. The proportions, especially if you didn't use liquify, are pretty good. I would say there's like small things like the head feels pulled down. Let me go ahead and liquify really quick. So I'm gonna pull that down and this up. I mean, it is crazy that we have this power nowadays. Because when I went to school, I didn't even know of Photoshop before I went to college. And it was like this crazy, like, oh my gosh, you can create all these cool digital images like this. So let's say that this was more of your base. You can see how just a little movements here and there. I think either having a good texture brush or making your brush smaller, and literally, I think just putting the texture on, like drawing that texture. And you might be someone like me who feels uncomfortable like doing strokes like this, where you're picking the pencil up, or in this case, the stylus, and you're laying it down to create that texture. But maybe I want to challenge you to just, and maybe don't even focus too much on the color challenge, but focus more on like texture. If you can kind of tell that that is something that you feel you are trying to work on, try to create your own texture. Or you'll probably get to the point where you'll want to create your own texture brushes, and that way that will help you create this texture quicker, because sometimes just making the brush smaller and going through the entire drawing doing this can be a little time consuming. But I think I find comfort in doing a lot of texture work, so I don't mind kind of wasting my time doing a lot of this stuff. But I think for learning purposes, it might be better to either find a texture brush, or maybe have a couple drawings where you're doing exactly what I'm doing, where you're going through the whole thing and being like, okay, I can tell these stripes here. You kind of did it, but I would push it even further so it becomes even more evident where these stripes are. Oh, my drawing's on the same layer. And I think just doing this type of like little texturing throughout will really help you. And I feel like it's easier for a pencil because you naturally have the grain of the paper that's going to create some of the texture, where digital, you're working on a flat white surface. So I would personally work with a texture brush like this, where it has some of the graininess to it.
Oh yeah, Scar says, can you film the screen just a second? I want to see what it looks like when you draw on the screen. Can this reach over there or no?
Yes.
I guess I can kind of do, I can't go over there.
So I guess when I'm doing the tiny stroke, I'm literally, you kind of see how I'm just like picking up the pencil really quick, or the stylus.
Yeah, it won't reach.
Well, you can kind of see like just my movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically it. And I would honestly work with a larger texture brush though and kind of lay it on a bit thicker. So you can see how it naturally creates a lot of the underlying texture that then you can go ahead, grab a lighter colors, and draw on top of. Now obviously if you want a specific style, like if you wanted to have more of a chalky appearance, you can almost leave this untouched. But doing like a pure realism study, I do think you want it to get as like accurate as possible. So I do think a little bit of it is the brush you're using. So don't be too hard on yourself if you feel like it looks too digital. I think trying to add more in the detail with either a texture brush or making your brush much smaller may help you. All right, moving on.
Let's see if I could just get a little bit of you drawing on the screen too from there. What's the edge look like of the pen?
Oh wait, oh no. I mean, it's just a normal stub. It's a normal tip. Honestly, I don't think you should focus too much on the tool that you're using. Because even with like pencils, I think people have this weird assumption that I'm sharpening like constantly to get like a nice fine point. But as you saw during the entire stream, I didn't sharpen any of my pencils. And I think as the tip sort of wears down, you work with it and you just continue to adapt. And I feel like that's kind of my personality, is to adapt with what's given to me. And then I only sharpen when it's like absolutely necessary. So I think for you, I would focus more on the digital aspects more than the actual like stylus. Because I could work with this, I could work with the iPad one. I've worked with one that had like a spring in it before. And they're all a little different, and just getting used to that. All right, but next up, we have this one.
This is Wishy. No comments on this one, so we're all good.
So I think you have a great job with adding texture. I can see you're very comfortable and confident with that. I'd say proportions are pretty good. I think just moving some things around, and this goes back to the one stream where I'm talking about like spatial awareness. So under the beak, you can see how there's like this mountain with like a slight, let me make this smaller. So in the original, you see how we have like this shape here? That same shape, actually, here, I'll do this. I'll literally copy and paste it. So that shape, when I look at yours, you can see how if we put it under, you see how there's a little bit of a difference. I mean, even if I make this bigger, my Photoshop's been so wonky with me lately. I think just pulling the head down and trying to match that same shape. So normally when I'm looking at drawing basically anything from a reference, I'm always looking at those shapes. And it's a lot of the time, either if I'm working within the subject matter, I'm looking at shapes and patterns within the subject matter, or if I'm looking at the edge of the actual subject matter, so in this case the bird, I'm looking at the negative space and what shape that creates. And then basically I'm recreating it on my own drawing. I think this is why my old high school teacher used to give me a lot of crap, because she would call me a photocopy machine. But when I look at something, I analyze the thing, or like proportions and how things align next to each other, and that's how I create something from life. So that would just be my one advice to you, maybe when doing another study like this. But overall, I actually think this is pretty great. I think you did a good job at handling, I think you did the triangles on the wings better than I did, because now I have to go in and like use my eraser tool more. I like the sporadic nature of the top of the head patterning. And I think similar to the first critique, I would definitely get that highlight down to just one spot, and then have the one spot on the eyelid just to give it more clarity. And I think, yeah, obviously spending more time on the branch that's broken off, but I think you put your focus more on the bird, which is more or less the subject that I wanted you to focus on. So yeah, actually I think that's pretty great. So I think honestly, texture, great, just focus more on proportions. And it's like nitpicking, because I actually do think your proportions aren't bad to begin with.
Oh, Tim is not using a glove, shaking my head.
Actually I do have one. Sure, I'll put it on. I'm a professional.
Radivir says, this is the first bird I've done, so focused on the face but struggled with the beak. Ran out of time for the rest, really. Also, sorry about the lighting, it's late here.
Oh, no problem. I would say your proportions are pretty great. I think similar to the last one, bring that same shape here. And I think having more of that down. And you can see how on the original beak, it literally is like a almost perfect point triangle. It's like a little bloated of a triangle, but it does have that sleekness going all the way down, and it feels symmetrical on the top and bottom. I would cut yours, like that. See that same sharpness. See before and after. See how it just like pulling it in, it goes from more of like a platypus beak where it's like slightly billowed out at the end to more of a sleek, like stabbing insects type beak. I think maybe going a little darker with some of your pencils, or if you're working with like an HB, just pushing down harder. Because I feel, and it could just be the lighting, but I do feel like having the eye be darker and then the beak can really help the contrast on this. I would say overall though, your proportions are pretty good, and even the way that you're building up texture, it's a very effective way of doing it. And it's the same way that I like to build up my texture, where I like to go light first. I mean, you just saw me do it, but it's like building it up, and then as I feel confident, I'll go back over places that I know I want darker and just slowly build it up. And I do feel like it's a very effective way of creating value and form, because you're not going too dark too early and then regretting that you don't have any way of erasing the mistakes. So honestly, I think you just need a little more time, and I could see this being a really well done bird. I do think, like, now that I'm looking at like little proportion stuff, yeah, even like the top of the head, I'll cut that off. No, I would still say overall the proportions are pretty good. I think you're just someone that needs a little more time, because I could even see like in the wood, I think you would have a lot of fun building up the wood texture down here and giving that some fun contrast between the splintering of the wood. So yeah, actually I'm not gonna say any more than that. I think you're on the right path.
We have Felix up next.
Oh,
Went with was it watercolor, right? Okay, this feels very amateurish to me, but I'm super versed with watercolor, so I definitely struggled. I think the contrast could be pushed more, and somehow the texture feels too scratchy all over.
I would not have been able to tell this is watercolor. I would have assumed this is pastel. Or even if it was with a water, I would almost have said gouache. I love the look of the wood. I actually feel like the texture and like that scratchiness on the wood works really well, because it reads as that texture. I do agree with you for the bird, for the colors. I feel like maybe it was hard to get that burnt auburn orange color that he has on the belly, and I could see where this is a little bit brighter. Yeah, because I feel like in the shadow areas, it almost feels like mud rather than like the shadow of the underbelly. And I think because some of those lighter colors are still pouring through. And obviously this is going to be a little different for me to give the critique, because you're working with a different medium. But I would say maybe what might help you is working in more solids. So having other areas that are a little less textury may help you out. So like if you know for sure the top of the head is going to read as very stipply and very textury, and I would have areas around it be a little more matte looking. And then maybe when you pull out like a highlighter color, let me see if I can. So if you're working with watercolor, I'd let this dry. And then, especially if you're working with gouache, I would literally paint some like stray hairs on top of it. And that might give you the look that you're going for. I mean, watercolor is very difficult. But weirdly, I think you actually handled it very, very professionally in the wood. That almost reads to me as like a professional either pastel artist or gouache artist. That's how they would render that wood. But I think it loses a little bit of that in the feathers. So you can see before and after how just adding a little bit more of the solidness can maybe help give it more form and shape. I mean, you're one of those artists that I just know you're gonna excel at, and I think whatever tool you're given, you're gonna find some way of making it work for you. But I think you're also like me in the sense where it may not turn out perfect the first couple of times, and I think it's just learning how the tool works, how it mixes, how it lays down. And I think maybe if you want to do more watercolor, I feel like you're in that just early stage of experimenting. But overall, I would say the proportions are also quite excellent. They're very good. But I think it's just understanding the medium to improve upon the bird. So yeah, good job, Felix.
Felix also said, yeah, I worked in sections. I should have done large shapes of soft gradients first, then do details.
Oh, wait. Thank you, Zadikiaya Cobb, or C0BB, for subscribing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hope you're enjoying.
Raul, thank you for stopping. Ella, thank you so much for stopping today.
Oh, and thank you, Tanjiro Kamado, for subscribing. Thank you.
Yeah, we will work on that movie night idea too. We have like I have like the little list of ideas going too.
Oh my gosh.
So we'll get to what we can.
Oh, No Name from Spirited Away. Thank you for stopping by your busy schedule.
Like 2 in a row there, possibly.
No, it's
Jordan
3.
Robinson. We got all of them, right? Do we?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Oh my god. Always smile. Thank you.
Oh, I like that emoji, the dot, capital U dot. That's cute. Well, thank you.
Actually, I will put the movie night recommendations too. We have a lot of ideas going.
Oh, thank you, Private Shite, for subscribing. Oh, did I just swear?
Timothy.
That was totally unintentional.
Well, we have to flag the video now.
Your name deceived me. And thank you, Nikki Pa, for subscribing. Well, thank you guys. I like this little burst of subscribing.
All right,
this is fun.
So next up we have Alpa. Says I don't really
wait. Thank you, Jordan Robinson.
Alpa says I don't really like this one. What? I feel
Why?
like I could have. This is gorgeous. I feel like I could have darkened the whole thing and do the little dots and triangle stuff. But overall, it's been a while since I've drawn animals, so I liked it.
Okay. One, I think you're being too harsh on yourself.
Very harsh.
But I will say, I do agree. The first critique you gave yourself is I would go darker in some areas. You can see, oh, actually, I went a little too dark though. Make it like there. You can see how as I'm adding some of the darker areas, it's starting to define some of the values within the bird more. So I would just pull out a slightly darker pencil. It doesn't even have to be that dark. You could even do this with an HB and just, layer it up a bit more. So don't feel like you have to grab a 4 or 6B to get darker. I think your proportions are great. I think your texture layout is lovely. I think it has a softness against some of the texture that you're adding with the feathers that works really well. I think yours is similar to one of the earlier ones where I think if you just had more time, maybe like a half hour, I think this could be a fully realized bird. Oh, thank you, Jimbo19, for becoming a member. You get the bell ring. Oh, that was the worst bell ring.
Yeah. Wait, didn't you have a strategy for it last time?
I wanted to hang it from the ceiling, but I decided that once we get moved downstairs, we'll have like a nicer...
We'll do something.
Yeah, because I kind of want that really nice sound.
Could just get a giant bell behind us, so you have to like pull a rope and then it like...
I mean, it would be cool if we had like a 10-foot bell and it's just massive and all you have to do is like do a slight tap.
The whole
like,
house shakes, yeah.
But thank you so much for subscribing. You get access to all the exclusive emojis. And I feel like as we continue doing more of these streams, I do want to do more casual ones where rather than it just being like a teaching one, it might just be me working on a tarot card or me working on the mermaid drawing. So I do appreciate it. And thank you to all the new subscribers as well. That was very nice. Okay. To finish this off though, I think yours is actually really, really good in terms of where you're at right now. I think you just need more time. And I think you might be a little too harsh on yourself. But I do feel like it's good to be constructively critical of your own work because that's how you do get better. But just know, I think you're being a little harsh on yourself. Okay, and that's the last one. Well, thank you everyone for joining in today. This was a lot of fun. And next week, hopefully we'll be moved downstairs and have probably not everything put together because we have a lot to do in the next week. We're moving Melina out on Monday, so we only have like one day to start on moving everything downstairs. But we'll probably do the life drawing session. It'll be a little longer, and then definitely plan the first Wednesday of every month to be more of these follow along live streams. And I'm gonna try to mix it up and try to see what it's like doing like a tarot card deck stream where I just kind of work on one or something a little different. And that way I can still feel productive and hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, but thank you guys. Do you have any last words, Schwa?
Much love to everyone.
Well, thank you everyone, and hopefully we'll see you next Wednesday. And great job on everyone that submitted. Okay, take care. Bye.